Hello and welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to Gaming and the Ivory Wall. What could well be our final session. That's certainly ramping up to be. As in the last session, I will allow the players to recap as it was a few weeks ago, but the Cliff Notes, at least the very conclusion, saw the Berlin Wall coming down. It was due to, during the day following the night that had just transpired in the game. And Anna's ghouls were set to various tasks off-camera by the Nosferatu of East Berlin. As it seems that our vampires have thrown in their lot with Gustav Breidenstein's regime in preference, rather than throwing in with the invading Hamburg force of Prince Siegfried. No one knows where Ernst Ehrman is, the Gangrel prince, who was last seen assumably being attacked by the Tremere of the city. And indeed the Anarchs were all due to set upon someone and try and plant their flag in Berlin during the night as well, but we don't know how they have got on either. There were an awful lot of balls in the air, as it were, a lot of different things going on, and who knows, the day that has just passed may have sealed some fates. So when the vampires now wake up and lose a blood point, not forgetting, of course, that Anna was only on one blood point at the time that she went to sleep, things may be very different in Berlin. For units, I will give you one willpower point.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I thought you'd be surprised about that.
This is totally out of left field. What is going on?
It's like being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I have an hour-long speech. Yeah, and Carl, you get nothing.
Yes. For Eunice, the day he gained a willpower point is the most important day.
Not yet. Both of you get a final 3 experience points.
And $50 bison.
Yes, and $50 bison. Because the next game we will be running will be the Street Fighter RPG, published by White Wolf in 1994.
I'm into it. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see about the uptake on that. For viewers.
I will be playing Chun-Li's breasts in that game.
A lot of people are going to be disappointed when this doesn't actually happen.
I thought you were about to say a lot of people are going to be disappointed when they realise that you look like Chun-Li's breasts.
One of you can
on Merc's head.
1,000-foot kick. Oh no, bird kick. So, on that note, I'm going to pass it over to John to recap from Carl's perspective what has taken place up till now. Not the entire chronicle.
If I remember right, last time we were approached by various parties following the disaster at the Prince's speech, Elysium, whatever. One of them being the Anarchs. They asked us to sort of remain neutral in what was to come, but we didn't. We went off to our old buddy Gustav's Nosferatu spy type guy. I think he might be Seneschal, actually, if I remember right. And oh no, he's not, because the Ventru are, of course. Anyway, we spoke to him about the ambush that had been planned. There had been allusion made to a location at which Bridenstine was going to cross the wall come the Hof, and so we've let them know that could be waiting for them. And really, I suppose that the highlight, or the big thing that occurred, other than from Carl's perspective, his I suppose blood brother Dieter Jurgens saying to him, we'll be all right. We're going to make our way away, and constantly insulting his sire, bringing out Carol's Helga side quite bluntly. But was the ghouls been shipped off to perform tasks during the day for the East Berlin Kindred, which my usually hot dice rolling in this game completely failed during that. So who knows what may have befallen those poor bastards.
And Eunice, from Anna's perspective?
Well,
Clearly this is going to be very much internal monologue at this point, because when you wake, something explosive may happen.
Well, mainly as it was already set up, like as we started the game, we were going to go meet David Siegel, the Nosferatu Primogen of the East, and we met him, we negotiated with him, and we sold ourselves well enough where he saw, favor in us, and he said that if I allow all my ghouls to be, taken into usage for the East during the day, in most likely, dangerous combat and those kind of situations, being used as stormtroopers and such, that he would speak on my behalf to Gustav Breidenstein to allow me to embrace one of my boys to be a full-on vampire and a child once all this trouble would be over, and once we would be officially in line, or more officially than it can already be, basically, with Breidenstein at East. And I gave my boys a little speech there. I huddled them all together, and I had a little heart-to-heart with them, talking about how, in the sense that if some of them aren't coming back, this kind of letting them know how much I care about them and love them and that sort of stuff, and letting them know what they're stepping into, and they got pumped about it. They got they were they're totally loyal to me, so of course they would want to do as I ask. And then I went to the back of a pickup truck that I had earlier instructed one of my boys to get for us, so that we would have a place to sleep in during the day, because there would have been no time to get a safe haven, and anything that would be considered a safe haven might not be so, during the day at this point, because of all the stuff that's going on. So in that car was one of my boys, Friedrich, who had gone into this kind of shock-stricken, this kind of manic state where, because of me using dread gaze on him when I vented my anger at him at one point in one of the sessions, and I extended my my blood to him. I gave all of my blood except for that one point I would need for waking up, and I promised him that if he does well, I'll choose him to be the one I'll embrace. And he got this crooked smile on his face, and fanatically went out to do my bidding, and all of us then huddled together into the back of the pickup truck and went to sleep. And we did make rolls. I was allowed to make rolls for my ghouls of what would happen during the day. Matthew just gave me arbitrary things to roll. I didn't know what the context would be, but the rolls were made, and the great majority of them were quite good.
I would agree with that. The great majority of them were good. A couple of them were not. There was only one botch, that we scored. There were a couple of failures, but the majority were successes, including some sort of resounding successes on the part of Werner and I believe Bruno as well, judging by my notes. So, of course, they've always been your favourites. So.
Note to parents, play favourites.
Yeah, exactly. So, now, night has fallen, the sun has set. Unbeknownst to you, the kindred in the back of this unmarked pickup, the noise outside continues. The hubbub has not ceased. The excitement of the day is an ongoing party that will last for several days more. And no one's really sure what it means. To the majority of people in Berlin, even Europe, possibly the world, this is the most important day of their history. To the two of you, of course, it's a new and a dangerous world that awaits you when you wake up. You don't know who's in charge now. You don't know whether your lives are endangered. You don't know whether Clan Toreador has been scheduled for complete elimination. After all, the Tremere, if they are the ones to blame from before, seemed quite keen on ousting the Toreador from the city, at least initially. You don't know who you're going to have to bend knee to, or indeed if it's a ruler that you've sided with previously. Will it be Gustav Breidenstein or the invading vampires of Hamburg? So while there is a sense of joy, of excitement, of freedom and liberty, feeling that has long been absent from Berlin, especially in such close proximity to the wall. Everyone has felt like this Great Wall is more than just a literal construct. It is a symbol of oppression. It is a symbol of division. And now that it is slowly being destroyed, and entertainers from all around the world, politicians, correspondents from all around the world are all here. They're all recording this monumental moment because it's something that will be remembered. Everyone's got the taste in their mouths of happiness, of what could be. This is the possibility of great things, wonderful things, that finally the horrors that have existed, the fear that has overshadowed life in the East and the West, nuclear war, all of it is now just gone in one grand political gesture. To the kindred, no such feeling of relief exists. And I now turn it to you to tell me, which of the two of you now, and this is important to see which of the two of you wakes up first, has the highest humanity? Because I can tell you, both of you are going to have higher humanity than Masha and Dieter.
I think it's probably me.
I think it probably will be Carl, because I believe Anna. Well, actually, no, because you killed Josiah.
My humanity, that's 7.
Oh yes, I think it went up.
Yeah, it went because of my sacrifice.
Hmm.
Right. Well, mine went down to 6 because of my sacrifice. So.
Oh. Not really your sacrifice as much as Helga's.
Oh, it was total sacrifice. What are you talking about?
Which means Anna is going to be the first one awake.
Oh. 15 minutes of frenzy.
Will Carl even wake up? So, that means I'm going to roll. I know which of your ghouls are nearby, and the fact that they haven't woken you. I can say at this point that it isn't all of them. It's whether they go into the van first. Okay. Anna, your eyes snap open. It's a Jason Voorhees moment. You are laying flat out in the back of the truck, and suddenly you're bolt upright. Your eyes are wide open. Your fangs are distended. You are hungry. You look emaciated. You look like you've been a stone-cold corpse for a good week. Any remaining blood that was in your body has pooled in a certain area, so you look bruised and blackened. You are on the very verge of torpor. If you do not feed immediately, you will be in torpor. What has woken you was not your high humanity, but the luck of a die roll that I just made. What has woken you is the gentle shaking of one of your ghouls. And so you wake up and sit bolt upright to look face to face into the eyes of, and I just rolled for, Klaus. Your jolly, talkative, convivial even, ghoul, who, seeing the monstrous look on your face, literally falls onto his ass and pushes himself back towards the cab of the truck. Could you roll a self-control, please?
Alright, let's see.
Difficulties are going to be 9s. You have no blood.
Okay.
9!
9!
Healthy.
Huh, I got a 6, 4, and a 9, so 1 success.
This is the first time in the entire Chronicle that Anna has scored well. Okay. You can utter, I'm going to say that you can utter one sentence. You can't control your beast. You can't control your body. The fact that you are now on all fours clawing your way towards him like some monstrous beast, but you can utter some words at him. So think carefully. What do you think she's going to say?
She will say, I don't know if it's going to sound like a voice from, from beyond the grave or something, if it's not going to sound sympathetic at all or anything, but I will say, please, I beg you, help your mutter, and I will
Pass at that point. I'm not going to make you have to roll for brawling. He whimpers and kind of his back against the cab end, his legs sort of splayed, and he closes his eyes and bares his throat as he lets out this small whimper, absolutely terrified of you as you dive upon him and begin to drink. Now I'm going to ask you to do another self-control roll. This one's important because...
do I stop in time?
Yeah, exactly. Now, by all means, I do allow you, of course, the opportunity to spend a willpower point.
Oh, well, that's an easy choice. Then I'll spend the willpower point.
But you still got to roll, of course.
Oh yeah.
You may get 1-1-1.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but the point is spent, so I'm starting off with a single.
Difficulty is right.
It's a good thing I spent that because I got a 4 and a 9 and a 1, so I got nothing on my roll, but I had that 1 from.
Got you 1 success. By the time you have finished sating your thirst, slaking's a word as well, you draw your fangs, your mouth up. It's kind of a moment. Blood running out of your mouth, down your chin. He is passed out, and it's at that point that you are blinking back to awareness. The bloodshot red of your irises is just fading as the blood runs down your front, and Klaus lays there mauled. He is still breathing, very heavily in fact, but he is unconscious, and thankfully for you, you are likewise still conscious. You have recovered 5 points.
Whoa! He needs a hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, all of this noise, all of this action, I'm going to say Carl and Masha. Dieter's humanity's too low, but the two of you will wake to this.
I would have, as would regain consciousness, I would have like, is Klaus in the car inside it, or was he like outside of it, and I was like leaning over?
No, he was in with you. He had climbed in to wake you up.
Okay, okay. Well, in that case, I'll be like resting my head against his neck, and I'll be like caressing his head, still feeling like, even though I should act, I'm kind of, still taken aback by, all this.
Masha likewise sits up straight, but not with such a hunger. Sees what's just happened, looks over, sees Carl sitting up. Your boy needs blood. At which point she cuts her palm. Do not try and stop me, Anna. If you value his life.
I won't move from atop of him. I'll most likely, when she says that and feeds him, I'll perhaps, I'll most likely weep a little bit there. Like my back will like jolt a little bit as I'm kind of weeping there, because I was kind of scared to death that I just killed one of my kids,
She runs the blood, keeps her thumb pressed in to kind of create a bit of a runoff from her palm into his mouth. He's not swallowing it. I think some of it's going down, but he is going to need a hospital, but he is swallowing some of it. He will be okay, Anna. Remember, we are all one family. Even your boys, we are all one family. We will look after each other. But for now, he will have to do with this. He is still breathing. That is the important thing.
I'll kiss him on the forehead, and I'll raise my head to kind of look around. I'm like, I'm looking if any of the other boys are there.
Well, this all takes place in the course of about 10 seconds. Carl, what are you doing?
Carl's probably looking at this display with some, detachment. He's not a fan of this sort of thing. It reminds him of a few things from the past several nights. He probably turn around and look towards the door end. He probably wants to get out.
As you turn around to look, and Anna will see this as well, Bruno is climbing up. Mutter! What have you done to him?
I'll look at him and I'll say, he needs a hospital. You need to take him. You need to take him to a hospital.
No. There is more afoot, Mutter. Werner has been taken, and Fritz, I do not know where Fritz is. The day has seen so many things happen. Please, I will explain. The horror shows, ghouls, these criminals and lowlives and investigators, they set us to various locations across the city. Klaus was with Fritz. Friedrich, Werner, and I, we went to a place that the horror shows told us was the Chantry. We went to a place. It looked quite inconspicuous. It was an old library, but they said that their intelligence told them it was a chantry. Now, they wanted us to find a way in, and Friedrich, I do not understand half of what was going on, Mutter, but Friedrich was tasked with finding the safest method of entry, and he was guided by some of these East Berliners. And Friedrich's always had a nose for these things, and he discovered this this library. In the past, he said several decades ago, it was a Turkish bathhouse, like a sauna and so on. And he suggested that we try entering from underground. So we went along with that, and we tried to enter, and the East Berliners stepped back at that point and let us go, and Werner said that we may have been going into a trap, but that we were to do exactly what they said, that was the deal that had been arranged, and so none of us thought twice, or thought 3 times about doing it. So we entered this building, and I do not know whether it was a chantry or a cathedral or a monastery or what. It was a library in the most strangest way. It was an odd building that I do not feel I can properly explain to you. But we almost instantly found ourselves falling upon guards or hired men, hired thugs, goons, and I executed several of them. And I do not regret this. It was for you and for West Berlin, Mutter. Werner saw that once we had penetrated this building, there was a hurry from the occupants to escort a container from the building. He had been prowling around, and he got in touch with us, and he said that they were trying to take what we assume was a coffin containing one of your kind out of the building because we had found our way in. Because Friedrich and I were trapped on the other side of the building at that time, fighting off all kinds of men and women, and I do not know what happened to Werner, but I do remember him saying that he had been cornered when he decided to tackle these pallbearers by himself, and he was only an old man, Mutter, and I heard him being beaten down. And his walkie-talkie, it went dead soon after. I do not know whether he is dead or not, Mutter, but he, at the very least, is in their hands. Now, they do not know how we entered, but we had to escape, because there were too many of them and too few of us. Now, Klaus, before he came here, well, we met up with Klaus just an hour ago, and he and Fritz, they were on a separate mission. They were likewise supposed to be exposing the haven of one of our chaperones, called them Warlocks. And Fritz, Klaus tells me Fritz would have done you proud, Mutter, that he did me proud, Mutter. He took a gun, a submachine gun. He peppered one of your kind from head down to groin repeatedly. He just would not take his finger off the trigger. He managed to uncover where she was sleeping and just fired and fired and fired countless rounds into her. I think he lost control. I think he And he got a bit battle crazed. I don't know whether he's ever fired a gun before, come to think of it. But while this body was starting to decompose in front of him, there was not enough blood in her, I think, to heal all the wounds, although Klaus says that he could see it with his eyes, that she was trying to do so. Fritz was suddenly up in flame. From head to foot, he was aflame, and an inferno, and for whatever reason, he did not start to roll on the floor. He did not think sanely, perhaps because he was occupied of such mania at the time, and he just ran from the building, a ball of fire, and Klaus could not keep up with him. Could not have kept up with Fritz. I am told by the people we were put with that we did them proud and that we did a good job, and that our work had greatly weakened our enemy. But all I know is that Fritz was possibly burned to a cinder, and Werner is in their hands if he is not already dead.
When he was telling me that story, when he told about Werner getting apprehended, there's this. I would have put my hand close to my mouth, this kind of worried look. And when he says about Fritz being, burned, that's when I'll put both hands in front of my mouth, and I'll failingly hold back tears type of thing, but I'll still be carefully listening to everything he says, and after he finished that part, I'll say with this stuttering voice, what about Friedrich?
Friedrich drove us all safely. We were pursued at one point, but he, for all of his unhinged behavior, Mutter, he was the son that you love. He was one of us again. He was a brother again. He drove us away at speed safely, picked up Klaus. We lost our pursuers. We are sure of that, and that is when we came here. He is still in the van.
I'll when he says that, I'll try and collect myself, and I'll put my hands on both of his cheeks, and I'll just stroke his head, and I'll look at him with this very sad face, and I'll just with tears coming down, I'll just say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and I'll be weeping there as I'm stroking his head.
Mutter, we knew the risks, and Werner and Fritz definitely knew the risks. You do not need to be sorry. We're all big boys. I am sure if Werner is still alive, he is giving them as good as he's getting.
I'll pull him close, and I'll hug him very tightly and rest my head on his shoulder there.
But Klaus, yeah, as I say, what is happening with him right now? He can see your chin. He can see you're covered in his blood, so he's not going to question the obvious. But how are you and Herr Schweitz? Are the two of you were the two of you undisturbed during the day?
We're fine.
Okay. Carol has probably actually got out of the van because this whole scene is disturbing him.
Okay. In that case,
I'll just say we're fine to him, and I'll like rub his upper back and just hug him tightly there. I'm not completely like lucid at the moment. I'm kind of a bit hysterical.
Friedrich walks up to Carl as he exits the back of the truck. He has a strange smile on his face. Still has a complete shock of white hair upon his head.
Carl probably doesn't recognise him at first, because it's been a while since he's seen him, and he's only met him like 2 or 3 times. So at first he was just sort of look at this old man walking towards him, and then as he gets closer, he'll sort of turn his head and recognise him, and just sort of nod.
Carl, how are you? Did you sleep well?
Like the grave, he says, not ironically.
May I walk with you?
I'll go anywhere. Why not?
Been very exciting. We've been driving through all these parties, lots of people dancing and hugging and singing. I hear David Hasselhoff is in the city.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The party does not seem to have ended, Carl. I hope you get a chance to take part in it. The last night, or during the day, sorry, yesterday, phew, that was quite a rush.
Successful then.
Well, for some of us. Mother said that if I did well, she might make me like her.
Carol realises something and kind of looks sidelong at him. And you think your chances just improved by 2, do you?
I do know. I do not know about that. I would not like to say, but I know that I did very well, and I looked after. I got Bruno and Klaus back here safe. So if anything, I am responsible for all of them, for their safety.
Yes, of course.
Both of them owe me now. Both of them owe me.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they do. Bruno says that you performed quite an incredible feat of driving to get them here.
Oh yeah. But that is not my most incredible feat, you know. Ever since Mutter gave me a firm talking to, I've seen and heard things, more things. I've been able to see a different spectrum, Carl. You know, you say that when you eat things, you can smell flavor, and you can see the makeup of meat, and you can tell how tender something is before you put your lips around it, and all of that. Well, when we were going to this library, and I did not believe, for instance, they called it a chantry, but they were all laughing at us. But I could see it, and there were various things around it, various like symbols floating in the air or painted on the ground, or I could see which ones to step on and which ones to step around. I could see the way past their defences. It was wonderful. If I had been able to stay there longer, I would have been sat there reading books. But yes, it is like I've got that, what they say, synesthesia. It is like I can see I can smell colours and taste sounds. Now, it was quite a day. I feel like I'm open to new vistas, Carl. I feel like I'm like you now, that I can appreciate things more. You understand. I suspect this is what Mutter could see in me as well, and it was why she took me back to her side, because she realized that I was like you and could be like you. And I have such an appreciation for things now, just like your family.
I must have carrying that Tupperware with the meringues in it.
I doubt it.
That's a shame. I'm giving him one right now. Carol just sort of nods back towards the van, says, Klaus is in pretty bad shape.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he was fine when I left him. I understand that one of the warlocks, that is what we were told they were, one of them got into his blood. That is what how Kraft described it. He felt like he was having a heart attack, or that he was getting intensive migraine, and that his veins were popping. But he managed to force down the pain, because Kraft's always been a strong man. He's always been a big, robust, hardy fellow. But you're saying he's had the after effects. Is he not doing very well now?
No. Well, what you have to realise is that, to you the day you raided the Chandri was a very important day in your history, but to us it was just another day and we were asleep. So, your mother woke up rather hungry, and Klaus seemed to present himself, I believe.
Oh, well, poor Klaus. Of course I feel for him, but and I know more than anyone else what that's like when Muta's angry and very hungry.
No, I don't think she's angry.
Oh, she's always angry. You've always got to do your best to impress Muta.
Carl decides to push this issue, and he sort of looks up. Always angry, really.
Yes, I see that now. I see that nothing any of us can ever do will actually please her. She will always be asking for more, more, more. And that is something I understand now, and I don't think that the others understand it like I do.
No, of course not. So what else did you get up to during the day?
Well, we had to attend a meeting first. So, well, that was Klaus and I. We attended a meeting because we had to go back to our respective little parties, little expeditions, explain what was going on. Now I can tell you, Carl, that I understand that after our day's activities, the plan is that an invitation will be sent out to those warlocks to have a big neutral meeting at the Brandenburg Gate. That is what we were told, that after we had given them a bloody nose, that we would then invite them with their tails between their legs to come to the Brandenburg Gate, where all the kind, that's what they call them, are around. The mortals, that's us, were around, so that nothing could happen, so that no one could attack anyone else, because they're having a big party at the Brandenburg Gate right now. I understand it's very fun. I believe Kraftwerk are there, and well, I understand that now that their nose is so bloody that they can be invited there, and maybe there can be more of there could be some kind of peace accord. I don't think that anyone wants to fight for longer than is necessary.
Oh no, of course not. No.
So that's the reason we were doing what we were doing. We were having to set ambushes and traps and set fire to places and sneak into places and burn them while they slept and that kind of thing, so that the ones who were remaining would be encouraged to the table of negotiation.
Sounds good. Sounds better than burning everyone to the ground. Do you happen to know if anything happened at the Church of St. John?
Oh no, I did not go there. None of us went there. Well, I heard about that. Talking about it, there was some of our other associates were going there, but none of Muta's boys. None of my brothers.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you had a successful night. Certainly sounds like you enjoyed yourself.
It was such a thrill, Carl.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing good for my Muta.
How were the caretakers, what was it Bruno just called them, the horror shows?
I don't know why Bruno calls them that. He does not like the way they look. I do not think they're just like me, but most of them are deformed or scarred or wearing masks. You know, like bank robbers. wearing masks.
Hmm.
And they said Bruno ill at ease. Some of them, they came with, they went with Klaus and Fritz. I know that. More of them went to that church you mentioned of St. John. But none of them went inside the library with me or Bruno or Werner. No.
So, the briefing beforehand, presumably you met up with some of the, the head boys, the kindred, the whatever.
No. It all happened during the day. Nothing happened at night.
Ah, very cool.
So yes, there was of course someone leading the meeting, but no one like Mutter. He was not that there is anyone like Mutter, of course.
No, of course not. No. Well, you certainly seem to have enjoyed it anyway, and yeah, you certainly seem to have enjoyed their company a lot. I've never really met them very much. During the briefing, did you hang out with those guys a lot? Were you alone with them a lot? Yeah.
Well, Klaus, of course, tried to talk to them. He's very chatty, too chatty sometimes, I think. Klaus, I feel, shut your mouth, Klaus, is what I think. But he never does, and I don't think he respects me much, Carl. I don't think he feels like me, like I feel about Mutter. But yes, some of us had conversations. There was nothing. We didn't go into any great detail. None of us wanted to betray Mutter's trust. It wasn't like we were going to say where you all were or anything like that.
No, of course not. Carol sort of pats him on the shoulder. And he decides to adopt his usual stance. Did you have anything interesting to eat yesterday?
We just picked up coffee and sandwiches.
That's all you had? For a big night like that, or a big day, I suppose?
Well, there wasn't really much time for a sit-down meal.
No.
Most of the restaurants are closed with everyone out on the streets. There's lots of vendors.
I've always wondered, do you guys still eat food?
Yes, we still eat food. Haven't you? Look at Klaus. He is a big boy. Of course he is.
Yeah, but I know you can, but do you have to? Like, I don't know how this works, this whole thing.
I think so. We always do. Mutter hasn't told us we can't. Are you saying that we don't have to?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't try it. Probably a bad idea. Don't listen to anything I'm saying about that. I don't know anything about it.
I'm hungry, or at least I feel like I still feel hungry. I could eat something right now.
Really? I don't think I've got anything. Well, if you can get something together, I'll cook you something.
I do not think I have the time for that, Carl, right now. I imagine Mutter will have something else for us to do, as she always has something for us to do.
Carol's persona suddenly changes and his hands become a bit more expressive and a big broad smile breaks out across his face. He says, "Oh my boy, if you never take time, you can never have time. And there's always time for the finer things." And he just pats him in the chest and says, then returns to normal. And sort of says, "So yeah, you should probably check in with." Just points at the van.
Yes, of course. I just wanted Bruno to break the bad news about Werner and Fritz.
And now hail the conquering hero, yes.
He walks off.
As he's walking off, Carol's suspicions have been aroused by this conversation. The paranoid little git that he is. He's going to, and it probably won't tell him anything, but he's going to aura read him, or try to.
Okay.
So, perception, empathy, right?
Yep.
Get the Dulux color chart out. There we go. On
Yes,
your
good number.
999.
Is that a botch?
I think so. If it's difficulty 8, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you. At least there's no botch listed. I think. No botch. Okay. Yes. You are picking up something from him. From what you can tell, he's now a vampire.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly what you were going to say. Carl frowns at his back. And resolves that he is going to make that man eat something very soon and see exactly what happens. He goes in search of. Is there any shops or anything nearby?
Nothing that's open. But, yeah, it depends how far you want to walk from the truck. Right now, you're in the middle of the suburbs. Really, it kind of.
He wants to be smart about this. He's going to wait for an opportune moment to offer this guy some food.
Okay. All right, Anna. Friedrich pokes his head through the back of the van. Well, he opens the truck door. Is everybody okay in there? Masha is just climbing out at this point, and Dieter is following.
I'll be getting out myself as well, and I'll instead of answering Friedrich right away, I'll still look at Bruno and firmly tell him that I need you to take him to the hospital, and I'm not kidding right now.
Of course, Motor, of course. Whatever you think is most important, I will take Klaus to the hospital. Friedrich, I will be taking your van. Bruno seemingly effortlessly hoists the big figure of Klaus into sort of fireman's lift. And
he doesn't press him up or anything.
No, he doesn't gorilla press slam him out the back of the truck.
Good God!
No, he fireman carries him and over towards the van. Friedrich, he says, leaving you with stood next to Friedrich as Friedrich helps you down from the back of the truck.
Yeah, I'll get out of the truck. And,
as soon as you do, Friedrich is suddenly clutching his arms around you. Oh, Mutter, I'm so sorry, so sorry.
What happened now?
About what happened, about Werner, about Fritz. Oh, it was terrible.
I'll stroke his hair a little bit there, but I've kind of collected myself from the initial shock at this point.
If you're probably looking over his shoulder, you'll see Carl scowling at him from behind with a look that you're not exactly sure what the origin of it is, but the internal monologue would be, that deceitful bastard. Look at him.
Can I do an empathy and perception roll if I can?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because because if he's just, if I can read something from that. 4 dice. So what would be the difficulty? 6?
It would, let's see, well, first Carl's got to succeed on an expression and charisma.
Oh, okay.
He's not really trying to express this, it's just happening.
Okay, in that case, just standard 6 difficulties.
3, 6, 7, 4, so 2 successes.
Yeah, then, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll make a mental note of that, and I'll stroke Friedrich's hair, and I'll then kind of push him off of me, and I'll say, we must keep focus.
Yes, Mutter. What do you need me to do? As you can see, I'm the only one now who is free to do anything, but I am always happy to serve you, of course. Do you need to feed from me?
No. Well, I'll kind of look around.
When he says that, the frowning intensifies.
I'll look at Marsha and Dieter, and I'll be looking at them in this kind of questioning way of looking for input from them on what we should do.
Well, now, Masha says, really it's down to... Well, we didn't tell Siegel where we were actually parking up for the day. We can either go back to the railway station and hope that one of his agents is still around. We can go back to the Italo, which we know is still Elysium. I would say those are our two best options. If we're still definitely throwing in with East Berlin, no matter what, we need to go to one of those two places. I could not say where the Tremere and where the Prince of Hamburg would be resting in the city.
Yes, well, the railway station is somewhere where I wouldn't expect them to be resting or anything. But if the Nosferatus have taken a blunt, or if the East has suffered during the day to the extent that they are no longer players in this game, then the railway station might be a very dangerous place to go to. Whereas,
we could, of course, just head east. If the wall is actually down, we can cross it. We can just go through Checkpoint and Charlie and make our way into the east of the city and see what's what. And if there are still agents of Bridenstine over there, it won't take long for us to draw their attention. If almost all of us can look into a crowd and identify one of our own.
I'll be looking to Carl's direction, and I'll kind of say that if we would set a course to Rosa's place. That may be
such things really breed strange bedfellows, don't they? I would have never trusted Rosa before all of this, but right now it really does come down to a matter of family first.
But then again, Siegel, no matter how much he seemed like someone who seemed like he knew what he was doing, and who seemed like someone, I can't say he seemed like someone who'd keep their word, but he seemed like a sensible person. I still wouldn't trust him enough where I would straight up head to his railway station. It's a pretty obvious location for an ambush, because they could always have settled for a treaty or something where one of the terms would be to turn us in or something, or to get rid of us, and that place is a perfect ambush location.
Well, Tita, you said you can contact Siegel if you need to. Yes, I can contact Siegel if the city has not just exploded into bloodshed. I cannot imagine he is going to be available readily now. I am with Anna in this. I feel that going to Rosa's haven in East Berlin may give us the best chance we have at least an ally, and possibly a safe place to hold up while we find out what's happened in the last day. After all, for all we know,
I'll be looking at Carl's direction, and looking at him in this kind of he can give input as well. He doesn't just have to settle for what we decide or anything. So
he doesn't notice you looking at him. He's sort of looking around. He's turning his head. You know what he's looking for? He's looking around.
Seems Herr Schweitz has something on his mind. But there is this. We could go to the wall itself. If we are surrounded by the Kine, at least we know we cannot be attacked.
Who's suggesting this?
Dieter.
Okay.
That is true.
And we may
I
spot
would be
someone.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't interested in seeing the spectacle, but that would be a very viable option. I'll be looking at everybody else, kind of how everybody reacts.
Maybe they'll expect us to go back to Italo. That's where they know to find us. If we're wanting to speak to people, they'll find us more easily there. Although if the Anarchs are still holed up there, I don't know what they'll be saying.
Marsha is rubbing her forehead now. Too many choices. I still advocate that we stick together, but my preference at this point would be to actually go to the wall. I think a shield of mortals is going to be more reliable than hoping that Rosa is not prepared to turn us into someone or other. I do not know Rosa's loyalties. I have not known Rosa's loyalties for the last several decades. So I would rather surround myself with Kine and have Carl looking through the crowd, and all of us looking through the crowd, for kindred that we may recognize, so that we can find out in protected environment what is going on. We know that things have gone on during the day. Ghouls, mortals have been active trying to disrupt various kindred play. We do not know what the kindred are now doing. Just as we had to go to sleep as the dawn came up, so did every other vampire. So, for all we know, hostilities may not have even started yet. Not properly.
What about the Brandenburg Gate?
What of it? It's disused, it's in a wasteland, pretty much.
Yeah, but apparently there's a big meeting there. Shouldn't we try to find out what's going on?
Where'd you hear of this?
But isn't that what... Who was it? Isn't that what Bruno or Friedrich just mentioned?
I think Friedrich mentioned it to you.
Ah, right, okay. And he just nods towards Friedrich. But no.
Oh, yeah. Some of the ghouls were talking about a meeting that if everything went to plan during the day, that we would be going to the Brandenburg Gate to meet in neutral ground, because I understand much of the partying, and there's so much partying going on, Mutter. You should see everyone, they're so happy. It's taking place at the Brandenburg Gate. It is a real symbol. It's been all over the news. We've had it on the radio. It is becoming the symbol of passage between East and West. Everyone is passing through it, and yes, but I didn't get the chance to tell you. Bruno, by this point, has driven off with Klaus, I will say, by the way.
Okay. When this is mentioned out loud, I will look at Marsha and Dieter for basically how they're taking this.
Dieter is looking confident in that. In fact, he's looking hopeful. He's thinking, "Oh, good, this may actually be over. This may be a sort of commonplace of convocation." But Marsha is slightly dubious. Could it be another Reichstag?
Well, who can say? I don't know.
The Reichstag was enclosed, and anything that happened in there would not affect the Kine. The Brandenburg Gate, on the other hand, there's going to be TV cameras, mortals all over the place. There can be no ambush there.
Well, in terms of, it seems to me, a choice between do we try to meet up with other kindred or do we try to mingle with the crowd? That sort of best of both worlds, I think. because we've got the opportunity to do both. I mean, we could even possibly pass on notice to some, especially someone like me who isn't a well-known face on either side of the wall.
I've lost my taste for pre-arranged meetings, what with ambushes being on the cards. I suspect we'd be more likely to encounter anarchs at the wall, and they tend to be a fairly decent source of information. The Brandenburg Gate may be where the bigwigs are meeting, but we have not been invited formally. And I do believe in the correct protocol and etiquette. You don't just crash a party.
Carol just nods.
We may be stepping on some toes if we just appear uninvited. I think perhaps we should go to the gate amongst the kind as a first priority, but if things turn out such that it seems that it would be much more beneficial and reasonable to go to the gate itself, we can move easily from there. As long as we stick together, if we spread out too much when we go to the wall, it might be easy to get lost in the crowd.
So you wish to go to the gate first and then the wall?
No, the other way around, actually.
Wall first and then the gate. Very well. I'm up for that, and I'm wanting to do this immediately. So let's get in the damn truck and make our way there.
Hey, while we're on the way, maybe we should pick up something for the boys to eat here. And he nods towards Friedrich. Apparently all I've had to eat all day is coffee and sandwiches.
I'm all right, Carl. But thank you very much for caring.
Oh yeah. Everyone should have a nice taste of something.
Friedrich looks a bit hopefully at his Mutter.
Well, let's go through a drive-through or something of the sort.
Oh, I do love a good wimpy burger.
Big Kahuna burger.
Carl isn't going to take this opportunity to plug his work since they've probably sacked him by now.
Oh yeah, O'Tolly's, yeah. Fine, we'll swing by the O'Tolly's.
No! Schweitz, is that you in there?
I'll drive. I was a very good driver during the day. I'm quite happy to drive again tonight.
Very well. I'll go to the back seat in the middle so that I can have everybody around me, so I can easily listen into conversations and be updated on anything that.
If they are going to the O'Tolly's, Carl will probably hide in the back. If he picks up any food, Carl will be opening the slat. The beady eyes will be peering out and like, eat it.
Okay, you make your way. It is probably busier tonight than it was the night before. All the way up to the Berlin Wall itself, the people have got out of their vehicles and they are quite literally dancing in the street, in stalls, vendors, barbecues, and kegs. Everyone is taking this opportunity to just have a good excuse for a party. Ghetto blasters are atop the roofs of cars with the same music pumping out all over the place. Most of it is the Hoff, but there's also news that's occasionally interspersed throughout, at which point everyone just crowds around the car that has the stereo on top of it so that everyone can listen to the news. But there's the occasional rousing cheer as they hear about a particular segment of the wall being knocked down and a new method of egress being opened. The feeling of revelry is immense when compared to the rather stunted silence that exists within the truck as you're just slowly crawling along, trying not to run over people. Friedrich occasionally beeps his horn, but after getting a glare from Masha, stops doing that.
Carl will be glaring out from his little slat. Also, mostly towards people that are barbecuing things because they're just not doing it right, in his opinion.
What, are you actually shouting out of the slat? No!
No,
Stop it!
He just glowers at them. The people that are actually in the cabin probably hears him muttering under his breath, "Oh my God, you turn it now, turn it, it's burning, it doesn't look like it's burning, but it's burning, the juice is just evaporating." Oh, the slat just angrily is closed, and then again it'll open and the beady eyes will appear after a few minutes.
What? Is he actually, like, is he freaking out, man, on the front seat, like, in front of us? Is he...
I'm in the back.
Oh, yeah, in the back. But, well, in that case, right next to me, is he babbling this stuff, you know?
Yes, two eyes next to your head appear. You spot a barbecue in the distance. And then he can't look on any longer.
Has suddenly become a Malkavian.
Yeah, it's...
I have more derangements than a starting Malkavian.
It's at the same time one of my boys, the only one that is around at this point, and my trusted colleague here, and both seem to have kind of gone over the edge. And yeah, it's I'll definitely make a mental note of that and keep an eye on Mr. Schweitz in the future.
It takes a good hour, 20 minutes to get to your Otolly drive-through, but if you recall, you lived right in the shadow of the wall, or your haven, existed within the shadow of the wall. And in fact, from where you are, you can see your haven. You didn't live that far away from work. I keep saying live, but you get the general gist. So your haven is still standing. It was never burnt down. And as you swing into the Otolly's drive-through, Friedrich calls back, "Does anybody want something?" No, just me.
Roll my eyes.
I can order them rare. He shouts out his order for Big Kahuna Burger and...
Carl mutters under his breath, "That'll be rare without me in that fucking kitchen."
Double fries, and I will have a... Crystal Pepsi. And he gets his order and pulls away, sticking it between his legs so he can eat and drive at the same time. "Oh, Carl, did you want my food? Carl, did you want my food to do something with it? You don't have a kitchen back there."
He looks at it. Is he eating the food?
Yeah.
The eyes are darting down to the food. No, it's fine. Just you enjoy that. You enjoy it all. You really, really need to eat, don't you?
He salutes you with the burger and continues to chow down.
The slat closes. They're very clever, these Nosferatu.
And within the next 25 minutes, you have arrived at the gate, at the wall proper where all the partying is going on. The difference is instant, the sight of it. It isn't like the entire wall has been demolished. That will take place over the next several weeks and months. But people are quite happily chipping away at it, taking away souvenirs. But more than that, they're just reveling. They are just raving. They're having a fantastic party. People are on top of the wall. They're dancing. They're sitting. They're holding banners. There's camera crews all over the place. There's some reporters actually stood atop the wall, and through various gaps, people are just pouring in, mostly from east to west. It is quite a sight. It's as if a prison camp has just let down its fences, and the inmates are now escaping. The exodus of East Berliners into the west is unmatched by West Berliners heading east, but occasionally you see the occasional few trying to pry their way across. Obviously, they want to know as much as East Berliners what's happened to their families, what's happened to their friends that they've not spoken to in the last half a century.
Okay. Well, are we still inside the car and all that?
Yeah, you can get out now. You're parked, and you're about as close as you can get to the wall without walking.
Hmm. Well, the energy and the enthusiasm is very like, well, it definitely makes an impression. You know, it's uh, even though we can live through lots of historical events, it's one to witness, and I am kind of, especially as a Toreador, I'm kind of taken aback at what I'm seeing. You know.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Masha is actually there. You can see, or well, you can't because you're transfixed. But there are two. There's tears of blood rolling down her cheeks as she sees this surge of humanity pouring through the wall like water through a gap in a dam. And it is as if it's making the wall buckle and fall to bits and crumble because with more people, more and more of the wall is just being pulled away. It is quite a sight to behold and quite the experience. Friedrich has finished his food. He's leaning out of the window of the truck and just taking all of it in, breathing in the air, breathing in the heady sense of humanity, the food that's cooking. He's got a great big grin on his face. Dieter is almost as stunned as the two of you, and Carl is meanwhile still in the back of the truck. Are you looking through your peephole, or are you sat there in sullen silence?
Carl will have been sitting contemplating when he feels the sort of jolt of the truck coming to a stop. He'll sort of narrow his eyes when he hears other people getting out. He'll think, I'm not going to leave that bastard alone with them. And he'll open the rear of the truck and Schweitz his way out of there.
So you schweiz your way out of the truck and over to the cab. While you heard the door opening, it transpires they haven't actually got out. You can see Anna and Masha both sat in there, staring through the windscreen at what's going on.
I think there's a lot of people around the truck.
Yeah, there's loads of people. In fact, the pulse of humanity is you're the first person to experience it, the first vampire from within the truck to just throw yourself into this thriving mosh pit. Could you do a willpower, please?
Just roll willpower, yeah.
Yeah, just willpower, please.
There's some dice. And we're back to normal.
Yay!
Carl at first be kind of swept away by this then. He was so, although all the food's shit, in his view, unless he discovers some good food, in which case he might gravitate towards that, so enthralled he is by all this. He'll just sort of be making his way towards the front of the cabin when he sees the two of them. He'll be at first going, hoping to God he's the first person that's noticed the blood criers, and then just like sort of jump up on the side and sort of like make as though he's just giving a big group hug to them and force them down.
And you're snapped from your reverie as Carl pretty much lifts you from the cab.
Oh no, I'm pushing her down. I'm actually jumping on top of them. Like, hey! Yeah. To just get their heads out of the field of vision of anyone that could see.
Madness.
And maybe break this line of sight with whatever it is they've spotted that set them up.
Well, if I'm not too deep into this fixation type of thing, if I can like snap out of it, I'll most likely do that as I get pulled off of the truck. So.
People are watching.
Yeah. Yes. You don't need to make a roll or anything. You are brought back to reality with a sudden jolt. Dieter does a similar thing to Masha, withdrawing a hanky and wiping her cheeks down with his silk handkerchief.
Won't be so easy when we witness the Hasselhoff performance.
All three
Then
of
it's
us.
going to be difficulty 10 willpower to snap out of it.
Lose 6 willpower points to resist the Hoff. That's it.
So that's proper art. But yeah, as I snap out of it, I kind of look around me, and even though I'm still kind of in awe of the event and the masses of people there and all that, the sounds and noises and all that kind of come back to me, and I'm like, more on top of the situation, and I'm looking around me trying to make sense of all the masses of people in front of me if I can. I'm trying to look for anything noteworthy, any familiar signs of ghouldom or vampires. Does anybody seem like they're an anarch, or does anybody seem like they're from the east, or anything of the sort?
You certainly see some people in. Actually, do a perception and alertness. Hell, it's the last session of the game. We might as well make that roll. It's been used in every other session of the game.
Okay. The 8 dice of Schmitz here.
7, 8, 3.
Oh! My God, it's the half!
You see the half.
I can see him from here.
He was wearing a disguise so he could get on top of the wall.
Crouching tiger, hidden half.
Carl notices him before he manages to get up there. Anna, you've both scored very well, so I'm going to describe in general what both of you see. Yes, there are definitely people from the east in this crowd. The easiest way of telling that is their style of dress. They look a little like they're a decade or so out of date in terms of fashion. Where there's almost a Mardi Gras style atmosphere from the mortals of the western side who are partying on this side of the wall. It is like working class individuals who have just stepped off of the factory floor are making their way west, and the way they're blinking at the lights, it is like someone who's been trapped underground for years. No doubt there are Easterners who are more well-dressed. No doubt there are Easterners who have had jobs that haven't had them consigned underground, and those who have perfectly enjoyed living on that side of the wall. But there are still some who are imminently recognizable as those who have felt penned in, who have been kept essentially chained to the regime that's been over there, and they look with awe at the happy atmosphere, the revelry that's on the western side. What else you happen to see? Now, you both got over 3 successes. In that case, you got 2. Okay, well in that case, Carl, you happen to see you can choose. Do you want to see the Hoff, or do you want to see something more relevant?
What kind of choice is that?
You've got a lot of successes. I'll let you see and call out the Hoff and change history by having him mobbed before he climbs on top of the wall.
I don't think Carl won't interfere with the Hoff. You can't stop the Hoff. He would just hopefully that he'll notice the Hoff will notice him, and they'll just exchange a
wink and a thumbs up.
That's right.
Well done, kid. You just saved the city. Now let's.
Carl he's momentarily entranced by the presence of the Hoff, and then another figure passes by him, and Carl is like, "Hold on a minute, let's go stop Bridenstine." So yeah, okay. He will notice and exchange a brief nod and smile with the Hoff. And Carl, as originally being from Austria, maybe isn't as swept away by all this. He's not as aware of the divide as others are, in a personal sense. But in a political sense, Carl is very, very left-wing, and seeing these people liberated, brought across the wall, and walking out free to do as they please now, and to bring their working class ethic, their left-wing ideas, their socialism, all these things to hopefully balance once again the overt capitalism, the things that he sees as corrupt and decadent on this side of the wall. He sees this thing almost visually pouring towards him. He smiles, oh yeah. And then
Carl, could you do an appearance plus We'll go for appearance and performance, please.
Okay, that's 5 dice.
The Hoff will spot you out of the crowd and find you.
Come with me.
Jump in my car.
Gay day. Yeah, as you bend over backwards at the waist, as Hoff next to you, and a photographer snaps the photo.
Yeah, okay. I've continued to roll hot. I don't know if I want to at this point.
Yeah, wow, okay. In that case, the Hoff points you out to the camera crew that's just behind him and says, that guy would look fantastic. And he strides over to you, and they're filming him as he grabs you by the hand.
Yeah, Carol will try to stride away from the truck when he sees him coming towards him. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping this. So I'm just going to try not to expose anyone else. He'll just go beeline for the Hoff.
It will be like your fingers coming closer, with God.
And then
an explosion of coolness and burgers. Carl just the hands slap together, and
you feel it's Arnold and it's a Dutch and Dylan moment from Predator.
Carl, just for continuity here, Carl will drop a blood point on Blush of Health and being warm.
Good.
So it's like, my God, man, you're freezing.
Let me wrap my coat around you and get you to the hospital.
The hospital.
He shakes you by the hand, and his grasp is warm, it's tender, it's trusting, and at the same time you feel like you've never touched such a spiritual font of raw humanity as you do, as the Hoff clasps your hand. He has strength, he has heart, and flowing through his veins is the flavour of freedom. And you can smell it on the air, you can taste it on your lips. You see his vaguely craggy face, but beautiful mullet, and feel the need to taste that man. But the camera crew around him, actually no, just self-control.
Yeah, fine.
Come with me to a private room, Mr. Hasselhoff. Yes. This is when the botch happens. Oh no, we're alright. The Hoff lives again. Oh dear. Think about what Carl Schweitz can do to Toreador Elders. Imagine what he can do to the Hoff. My God.
The Hoff, he doesn't have a long conversation with you. He just, as one hand grips yours, with the other, he points right in your face. The cameras are on you. The cameras are on him.
His finger's gone. Yeah.
And he says, "You, kid, you brought down that wall. It's your freedom. You're the one who fought for it. Kid, this is your day. This is your night. Yeah."
Carl just
he pulls you in for a hug.
Yeah, Carl just he won't have to pull Carl in. Carl will have thrown himself at him. Oh no! This is overwhelmed him somewhat.
Will you get a new derangement over such such a religious experience?
Sanguinary Hoffinism.
He lets go with a woo and walks away with his camera crew towards the wall.
Carol, with a similar woo, turns and just looks around himself at all the people who are no doubt looking at him.
Some people are taking photos of you now. They're a lot of them are clapping you on the back as if you've done something.
And then I noticed one of them is Gustav Bridenstine. Ah! Yeah. Not that actually know what he looks like, to be fair.
Well, you chose David Hasselhoff, so.
priority.
That's because I was looking for freedom.
Yeah. In short, no, you don't recognise any kindred in the crowd.
It was totally worth it for that.
It was worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
while you were doing that, all the rest of us were stiff with just tears flowing of blood flowing through our eyes.
Fountain spray from the eye.
They were like screaming fangirls. Like,
Don't say that, Jonas. You went back down to 1 blood point again. Deluge from your face.
Paul Gascoigne style, yes. Okay, while that's been going on, Anna, have you been fixated on what's been going on with the Hoff, or have you still been surveying the crowd?
Let's face it, come on.
as a player, I would want to be surveying the crowd, but I don't. It's gonna be hard not to pay attention to anything that's going on between this.
Could you do a
man
perception?
and
Could
Carl.
Anna do a perception plus alertness at a difficulty of 8, please?
Oh, 9, 6, 5, so 1.
In that case, through the close together foreheads of Carl and Hasselhoff, you see into the crowd. You do see a familiar face. You recognise in that crowd Salvatore Direg, the ambassador of East Berlin, who is kind of making his way through the crowd. Looks like he's not making his way over towards you, but he's making his way through the crowd towards something.
If I can make out which direction he's attempting to move to, can I look in that direction and see oh, is there anyone I'd recognize at that direction?
Well, he's making his way towards the wall itself, and there seems to be it's more of a bouncing up and down crowd there. So it's difficult to pick out anyone in particular. I will ask you to do one more perception plus alertness, please. Difficulty 7.
188, so 1 success.
Okay. In that case, yes, there is someone that stands out. You don't recognise who they are. You don't recognise this person's face at all.
Do I recognize if it's a male or a female?
It's a male. But the reason this person stands out is partly their dress. They're wearing a long brown overcoat, whereas everyone else is wearing quite garish colours. But also where everyone around them is kind of boom, 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 dancing up and down, generally enjoying themselves. This person is stood like a rock in the ocean, just waiting as Salvatore makes his way over towards them.
How far is this coat-wearing gentleman away from us?
You could probably reach him in about a minute's time through squeezing through the crowd.
I'll make eye contact with Masha with this kind of I don't really say too much. I'll just look in her eyes, and then I'll just turn and start to weave through the crowd, so that she knows that I'm up to something. So.
Masha is about to call out your name, but instead just follows. Dieter goes over to Carl, who I see has become a picture of David Hasselhoff now. I don't know whether that's showing up on the screen, but it appears to have disappeared for me. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's stop the Hoff.
Good old Hoff. Yeah, Dieter says, let's hope, Herr Schweitz, my brother, that no one wishes to interview you in weeks to come about your meeting with the Hoff. What with the masquerade and everything.
And you decline our interview.
Carol just looks at me and says, "Oh, Dieter," and he'll pat him rather familiarly on the cheek, in a way that someone used to do to him. "Sometimes you just have to live in the moment, my boy." And then he would sort of flounce away towards something that's making food.
Madness.
Dieter frowns as Friedrich walks up behind him. Meanwhile, Anna and Masha making their way through the crowd. Anna, are you heading towards the grim-looking man? Are you attempting to sort of intersect where Salvatore is heading?
I'm trying to get close enough where I could make out who this person in the coat could be.
Okay. You do get closer. It's about 30 seconds in. I would like you to do a intelligence plus politics, please.
To see what that even is. Intelligence and politics.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 29194. So again, one success.
One success. Okay, you're close enough to recognize the man. You think, now that you're closer to him, this heavy-set man, he's about 6'4". He's broad-shouldered. His long brown overcoat is undone, and you can see that he's wearing a shirt with a tie that's pressed uncomfortably tight around his throat. His skin is kind of overlapping it slightly. He has the paleness of a vampire, and he wears fat lips and thick brows, and is every bit the miserable-looking politician. His shoulders are forward, and as Salvatore reaches him, you recognize him as Prince Bridenstine of East Berlin. And now that you're close enough, and you can't help but pan around the crowd a little, you can see there are other rocks in the stream. There are other static figures who are just watching around the place. You don't know if any of them have seen you.
He hasn't seen me yet, right?
No, or if he is, he's making a damn good show of not showing it.
I'm going to use a willpower point in order to activate Majesty on him. I'm not going. No, I'm not going to try and make him a supplicant or something like that. I'm just trying to make it so that I won't have to fear him, turning against me, type of thing. That he wouldn't want to hurt my precious feelings, type of thing.
Bear in mind, it's Your Majesty versus that of the Hoff and his piano necktie.
I wouldn't want to challenge the Hoffs.
I searched for pictures of David Hasselhoff at the Berlin Mall, and I don't know if it's a necktie or a scarf. It looks quite thick, but that is a sensational scarf he's wearing.
Stop watching and look that up. Okay, Anna, if you could roll.
I don't think there is a roll.
No roll is required, it's just a willpower point, and the subject must make a courage roll. Oh, no, that's just if he wants to be contrary to you. Okay, there's no generational thing. It's not like domination.
Yeah, no. I'm just making so that I have this influence on him where he wouldn't want to hurt my feelings or harm me or something like that. And I'm not trying to make him a supplicant or anything of that sort.
You see Salvatore go up to him and make some motions with his hands. And you see Gustav just stood completely straight up, no gesticulation on his part, just rolled his eyes, says something, and Salvatore turns around, and then Gustav starts making his own way through the crowd.
Curse you, John!
That is a stunning photo of David Hasselhoff now that we have.
But yeah, in all seriousness, as soon as I see Del Rey turn away as their dialogue is done, with the discipline activated, I'll approach him. I won't put my hand on his shoulder or something, I will try and do this kind of circular where I'll allow him to see me seeing him before I come to hearing distance, you know.
You're doing this to Gustav, not Salvatore.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, not Salvatore. Gustav is immediately prepared to pretty much walk straight through you. He's not looking down to where you are. Do you sort of hold your position and essentially until you're practically nose to nose?
Yes, I will. I will make I will attempt to make eye contact with him and give him the most aesthetically pleasing smile I can possibly pull off. This kind of one could describe as a shit-eating grin, but still as I'm trying to make, you know, an impression on him. I'll try to meet his eyes with this kind of a very warm and inviting expression and presence, and I will give him, like, I will do a little courtesy for him, and I won't say in the middle of the crowd, you know, anything of his name or his position as a prince or something. I'll say a pleasure to finally get to meet you, Anna Varnhagen. I'll introduce myself that way.
As he stops, he looks down at you. You hear a and he goes for a walkie-talkie at his side. And you hear a voice come through it. We have our eyes on her. Walk with me. Walk with me, Anna Van Hagen.
A pleasure. Even though I got an impression of a sticky situation, I won't allow him to read that off of me. I'll try and masquerade it as much as possible.
Okay, Carl. You're heading over to get something to eat.
I don't know if he's going to actually get something to eat, but he's going to be near the food. Maybe I should begin taking part in cooking some of it.
Yeah, there's pretzel stands, there's bratwurst, schnitzel, all kinds of things being made up here. Anything that could constitute vendor food, really.
I think he would probably get swept up in all this and start, you've got to try, and eventually end up probably being sort of through a process of just advisory osmosis, being sucked into the collective of people who are cooking.
I just want mustard on it, for fuck's sake! Someone told hot dog away.
Seriously, give me 2 minutes, mate. Try it now. Like, oh my god!
Wait, you can't speak to him like that. That's David Hasselhoff's friend. Friedrich taps you on the shoulder. Carl. You're getting in the way of this queue of people, Carl. We want our food.
I'll make you something fantastic.
No, Carl, you're getting in the way, Carl. Do a self-control. This is the first time you've got to experiment with food in the last, several nights.
Thankfully, I'm still on fire over here.
Okay, you don't just shove Friedrich into the crowd then, unless you want to.
No, but he will just sort of turn around and look like he was possibly about to, just sort of turning on his heel. But with that, rather than a sort of angry look on his face, with that sort of a smile that's not a smile, the one that his sire had in her face just before she gave her final insult to him. Kind of like, so you think you can talk to me like that? You think you can tell me to get out of the way? But he'll just sort of turn around and then that'll flash on his face for a moment, and then he'll sort of like return to his sort of mundane self. Now that he's not facing the food. What?
Carl, you're in the way of all these people that want to pay for their food. Come with me. Come with me.
They're paying for that? And then he
Come
walks
with
away.
me, Carl. Please. You're causing a scene. Get him out of the way. I don't care if he's David Hasselhoff's lover. Get him to fuck off. I'm hungry.
Carl ignores the criticism and just walks away.
Friedrich is in lockstep with you, pretty much. Carl, could I ask you something, Carl? He takes you round to the side of one of these hot dog vendors.
I'm not stopping
you. I just need to ask you something, Carl.
And Carl sort of narrows his eyes at him. Looks very suspicious.
Carl, do you think Mutter will make me like her, Carl? Now that she has the chance to. Like make me like you.
Do you think that's a good idea, Friedrich? Is it something you want? Do you want this?
I would love to be more like Mutter. I would love for her to treat me
Stop
as
talking. Carl puts his hand on the guy's chest as he is back to his old self now, and listen to me. Think about what it is you want to do most. And I don't mean right now. I mean back in the beginning of your life. What you really, really wanted to do. What was that? What did you want to do?
Yeah. Bam.
You told me a couple of hours ago that you weren't like the others. You weren't so wrapped up in all that bullshit. That yeah, and I know how that feels. I know how that feels to break out of that. I've seen it before. So what did you want before then, and now what is it you really want? If you could do anything that you really wanted to do, what would it be?
Well, when I was a boy, when I was coming out of school, I wanted to be a policeman.
A policeman, yeah.
I was always very good at getting secrets out of people. I think that's what Mutter saw in me in the first place.
No. Put that away, right? What did you want to be? Not to make your Mutter happy. What did you want? What's your dream? What did you want to do with your life?
He rather embarrassedly sort of hesitates a smile before sort of sweeping his hair back. I wanted to lock bad guys up. I wanted to arrest criminals. I wanted to be a good man. I do my mother proud.
Carl's lips tremble slightly as he gets a little bit emotional. He's a good man. Huh? Well. Do you have any idea what this is? What we are? Do you really want that?
I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to get me to disappoint Mutter again because you want Mutter. But I'm not going to do that.
I'm not trying to do anything, you jealous moron. I'm trying to explain to you that you cannot be this and a good man. You have no idea what this will do to you. You have no idea what I have done.
What this will do to me? Look what it's already done to me. Look at me. Look at how I am. I'm like
And you
some
wouldn't.
fucking junkie, and I know that I am, and I know that it feels good, and I can't walk away from it now because I've been doing this for the best part of 10 years with Muta, and this is how I am. So I've got to make the best of it, Carl. And if Muta is letting me be better than I am right now, letting me be less of a slave to her vein, of course I love her and I want to be with her, but I cannot go back to the way I was. I cannot be a weak man again. I cannot disappoint my parents anymore, or my family, or my friends, like I have my entire life. I can be so much more than that if it just makes me better than I am. Don't you understand? I am nothing without my Muta.
It's sad because without this, you could have been a policeman, and I could have been a chef, and none of this could have mattered to us.
So you don't think Muta's going to make me like you?
No, I think she might, but I don't know if that's a good thing. You might think so now, but, well, we'll see. I wish you the very best of luck. Of course, and he looks at them, there is the chance that you're not telling me everything there is to know here, isn't there?
Yeah. Muta is my Muta. You are just the man who lives with her right now.
Oh yeah, of course. Still, why the sudden change of heart towards her? All that talk earlier. She's so angry all the time, all of that kind of chat. Where'd that come
She
from?
scared me
She's
because
scared.
I did wrong.
Mm.
He punished me and I deserved it. And I need to win back her favor, and I think that I have. And I will continue to do so until she tells me I've done enough.
And you wouldn't, you know, out of spite, you wouldn't go working for anyone else now, would you? Those, what was it, horror shows, Bruno called them?
Muta gives me everything I need, but I want more. And why would I want to go to someone else?
Because it's all just tasty red stuff, isn't it? Yeah. And you, well, you don't just want to let your mother make a decision, do you? You want this is personal for you, isn't it, Friedrich?
Muta will taste better than anyone else because there's love inside her for all of us, and I hate that I have to share her with anyone else.
I see. So you wouldn't have went tasting anyone else now, no? No. Muta is my Muta. I do not want your blood. No, you can't
He
have
shouts
that.
out rather loudly, and a couple of people turn around. I do not want to drink from you.
Carl slaps him in the face. Pull yourself together. Which is rather ironic because he's been totally losing the plot. But he does it anyway. But, I mean, he almost seems to have completely forgotten that he was only moments ago badgering the proprietors of a food stand. And just with a quick slap, pull yourself together. What's your words? Do you really want that tasty treat from your mother? Do you really want that? Well, the best way to rule out getting that is to shout out nonsense like this in the street.
I'm going to tell my Muta that you struck me.
Do you
She
want
won't be happy with you. No, not at all.
Would you like me to tell her why, Friedrich?
I hate you. I hate all the time you've been spending with her.
I'm not with her right now. If it makes you feel any better, I'm not interested in taking your mummy away from you. As long as you continue to serve her well, then we're not going to have a problem. And as long as you continue to have her best interests at heart, we're not going to have a problem. So you can think what you like about me. People have always thought they liked about me, Friedrich, but when it comes down to it, I can either help you with this, and maybe you'll have a friend who isn't trying to manipulate you into doing things that will not make you a very good man anymore. Or you can, well, tell me to fuck off, and then I won't bother my arse with you anymore. And you'll be left to the tender mercies of everyone who've turned me into a little bit of a monster. See what you want. Anyway, I wish you all the best with your little endeavour, and don't worry, I won't be saying anything to your mother that might endanger your gift from her. But don't go selling your brothers up the river. We need everyone at their best just now. Carol feels slightly deflated by this conversation, and he'll walk away, suddenly back to his sort of stoic self, and then he starts to feel bad as he walks away for sort of emotionally bludgeoning that guy, and he'll stop and he'll sort of turn around and look at him and sort of give him a weak smile for a moment, and then sort of scratch his hair, think about, oh God, I'm turning into a bastard, before vanishing off into the crowd again.
Okay. Anna. As you walk through the crowd with Gustav, somehow, despite the fact he speaks with a low voice, it penetrates the massive throng around you and seems to hit only your ears. No one else seems to pay any attention to him, but his voice seems especially targeted towards you. Even without Auspex to any significant degree, you can tell just by looking at him that he conveys power. It isn't just the fact that he is very tall and very broad-shouldered. He has an aura of age, of vintage power that just resides within him and exudes and affects you, just as you are applying your majesty to him. He is doing likewise to you.
Is that just a figure of speech, or is he actually using a supernatural?
He is actually using a supernatural discipline.
Well, I don't mean to. I wouldn't want to have disappointed or arouse his ire anyway. But yeah, good to be sure. And also, if he feels that I'm doing the same, then there is a certain kind of equal playing field on a certain level, perhaps, between the two of us. But
Well,
yeah.
can I help you, Anna Van Hagen? I've heard much of you in recent nights.
Well, my prince, I have not heard too much of what has transpired during the day and ever since it, but as much as before all this, as soon as it became inevitable, seemingly at least, that the wall is going to go down, I immediately knew where my loyalties would need to lie for a prosperous and healthy future. So, spotting you out in the crowd, I immediately, of course, was aching for the chance to have your to make your acquaintance for the first time.
Well, I am, of course, gratified that you think of me so highly, and I think likewise of you, just looking upon you. He shakes his head. Matter of Party Boy, he was delivered to me, I understand, at your request. Salvatore told me that is not something that will go unrewarded once my victory here is assured. You will see yourself appropriately thanked. Also, I understand the Torrid are partly at your behest and partly at your Primogen and the other scant remaining members of your clan. Apparently working to my efforts. Some of your mortal followers, your little cult that you surround yourself with, have been working alongside Seagull's horror shows during the day. That will also be rewarded once my victory is assured. Rest assured yourself, Anna Van Hagen. I do not forget names of those who do me great service, even if for the last several decades they have worked against me by propping up the rule of Ernst Ehrman. You will receive your just reward. I promise you that.
I've seen Aladdin, but yeah, I'll again like kindly smile and make a respectful nodding gesture towards him, and to say that well, in these nights it's a very it's of great importance for all of us to build bridges that may or may not have been burned down in the past because of certain allegiances one has had to weigh in on. It has always bothered me that my dear Rosa Rothschild has been on the other side of the wall, and looking beyond that, I've always seen the West as a compromise more than a fulfillment of my dreams. So when things seemed to be going the way they wound up going, I knew immediately which side to back, and before any of my fellow Toreadors acted, there was no consensus of allegiances for our clan during the time I sent Party Boy your way, and at the moment we met Seagull, I immediately gave my boys up for use, and just as you mentioned the upcoming victory of yours that's looming right around the corner, I am standing here willing and able to further that goal and aid you as my future prince. These Hamburgian heathens need to be run out of town.
Heathens. Very good. Yes, no one invited Siegfried here. Well, the Tremere may have. But the Tremere do not have a say. My long-standing issue has ever been with the Tremere, putting their noses where they are not wanted, trying to manipulate others from the shadows. I would trust 10 Nosferatu over one Tremere any night. I'll tell you this. The Nosferatu may cloak themselves, may wear many masks, but it is only the Tremere that will lie to your face. Heathens it is. Prince Siegfried will be driven out, but my victory is not assured yet. There is to be a meet. Salvatore has arranged it. The Brandenburg Gate, there are many people there. We have only just found out, but our activities during the day, Seagull's activities during the day, along with the activities of some West Berliners who I have yet to thank or find, have severely weakened Siegfried's aim. Certainly he could still hold on to the West, but he could not penetrate the East with any ease at all. It seems your mortal agents and those of the Schwestig Anarch movement have targeted quite strongly not only the Tremere, but also the last holdouts of Ehrmann's rule. Oskar von Humboldt was, I hear, exposed to the sunlight, which puts me at great pain, for I had wished to put him out myself. But still, you know, you have to take your victories where you can. So it is left with us, a fractured East meeting with a fractured invading force, and the Anarchs, who it seems are currently strong and hashing out some kind of peace accord. Let me tell you this, Anna Van Hagen, there will be no peace accord with the Tremere. Siegfried can fuck off all the way back to Hamburg for all I care. He will not be remaining here in Berlin. For all I care, no Tremere will remain here, but I understand the Camarilla may object if there are no Tremere here at all, so I don't mind keeping one or two if they can keep their mouths shut and their business to themselves. The Brandenburg Gate is where we will meet. Your Toreador will be on my side, and you will be vocally so. You will not stand up for Anarchs. You will not side with Anarchs, and if any of you do, I will rely on you and your more vocal brothers and sisters to stand against them. You understand? You must hang any of your outsiders out to dry if we are to represent a unified Berlin. There can be no outsiders in Berlin. What is more, and this is the most important thing, and at this point he stops as you reach the edge of the crowd, it is through your efforts and the efforts of one Karl Schweitz, I understand, who spied on the ill-fated Reichstag meeting that, well, shall we say, a little bit of information reached the Tremere in Hamburg about where Ehrmann was hoping to host before Richter had intended to tell him. But it is through that I understand that my safety was assured. My entrance into Berlin was to be along the river Spree. That apparently the Tremere and Ehrmann knew where I was to enter, and it was through your telling Siegel this that I was not ambushed. For that ambush was lain in wait, and we were able to get the drop on them. That did not occur. That is to the thanks of the Toreador. I owe you 3 things. Party boy, I owe you your coming to Siegel, and I owe you for saving my existence, or at least preventing me from having a particularly rough day. I do not forget these favors, Anna Van Hagen. You can tell your Primogen that. If she wishes to remain Primogen.
You have all of my prince. You cannot imagine how good it feels to actually be in the presence of actual authority ever since having to serve the limp-wristed Ehrmann and that our late sheriff, as it seems. You are someone I can surely with pride call my prince.
One thing, Anna Van Hagen. When my victory is assured, and I do hope that it will be, I do not tolerate big packs of ghouls in my city, and I know that you have a propensity for them. Siegel tells me as much, and I appreciate all that you have done, but that ruling will not change. It is a flagrant breach of the masquerade to have mortals running around knowing about us. I restrict kindred to one ghoul, but recognizing the aid that you have given, when I am Prince, Siegel has told me that he has already assured you you may embrace one of your servitors. For the service you have provided, you may embrace 2 of them, and help propagate your clan somewhat.
Thank you. My most gracious
One of them may remain as a ghoul. The other 2, you must dispense with them. I will not permit you to have more than one.
Understood and very much appreciated, my prince. If the gate awaits for swift action,
Round up your clan. We are to get there post haste.
Very well. Well met, my prince. I will surely see you again as the victor. And I will give him a courtesy and humbly lower my head while I do it.
Actually, as you do that, he pretty much crudely snatches your hand and plants a big kiss on it. Again, this is no doubt the majesty at work. He certainly isn't speaking with any sort of affection, but he kisses the back of your hand, looks up into your eyes, and says, "I reward loyalty, Van Hagen."
Oh, my prince, one aching question that has been gnawing on my head and the heads of my associates. Has there been any word of the Church of St. John? Has it played any part in any of this?
The Church of St. John.
Yes.
In West Berlin. Used to be the haven for
sightings of supernatural phenomenons there that clearly look to be of kindred sort, but some that we could never have named, and ones that we've never received any sort of confirmation on, and it's been teasing us and gnawing at us throughout all of this, not knowing what sort of role they attempt to play, if there is a threat to be coming from that direction.
Before the war broke out, there was a small little cabal there. It was comprised, I believe it was the Brotherhood of Typhon or something like that. They were like Masonic vampires. I believe it comprised Tremere, a couple of Nosferatu, and some serpents. They are called different names depending on where you are in the world, but here we call them the Brotherhood of Typhon. Either way, they were extinguished during the Second World War. Although Siegel did tell me that when I awoke that you were asking him about that place as well, or rather, your friend Herr Schweitz was. We sent some mortals there, but there were no kindred to be found. It could well be that the Tremere were using the place as a meeting ground to hatch this plan. Perhaps common ground to meet with envoys from Hamburg is what we suspect. After all, it was a place of some infamy during the in the years preceding the Second World War. And Ehrman had rendered it as a place that no one was allowed to visit due to its ill reputation.
I see. Well, whoever resided there must have abandoned it after they found out that they were found out on. So.
Well, good. Anyway, I must depart. He gives you another hasty kiss and then spins on his heel and disappears.
Yeah, as soon as that happens, I'll rush back to my comrades.
Carl, you see Anna pushing her way through the crowd towards you.
The Metal Gear Solid exclamation mark. Carl, she chokes me out from the back. No, Carl, well, yes, I feel equally beeline towards her.
Masha does likewise. Dieter isn't anywhere to be seen.
9.
I'll come there and I'll be like, I don't know if...
He latches on to you as soon as you start talking.
Who?
Friedrich.
He does what?
He latches onto you. He just suddenly wraps his arms around you. Mutter, I was so worried.
Yes. I don't know if any of you noticed who that was that I was talking to.
Oh, I noticed. This is Masha.
Carl just keeps listening but looks around to see where Dieter's gone.
I spoke with Prince Bridenstine and confirmed our loyalty to him that was already crystal clear to him, and he listed off all the favors that we have already done for him during all of this, and he said that he does not forget loyalty, and that he is taking us in with welcoming arms. There is still, however, the gate that we were talking about earlier. There is...
I was right, Mutter, I was right. There is to be a meeting there.
Yes, but we are to make sure that there is not going to be any peaceful negotiations of truce or any of the sort. This is going to be a clear-cut, black and white, with us or against us situation, and Bridenstine demands loyalty and swift action from us. When it comes to the Anarchs, they will either have to join the cause or perish because of it. It is a ruthless approach, but it is a sure way of securing Bridenstine's victory, and it's a sure way of ensuring our loyalty to him that already is strong in his mind, but this would take it over the top and to the next level. We could be expecting great rewards once this is all over. But yes, the Anarchs are expected to be there, and yes, the Anarchs are going to have to be one or the other.
You didn't have to see where Dieter went, did you?
No, I saw... Friedrich, I saw you going up to him. I spoke to Dieter briefly, but he had to go away. I think he saw someone in the crowd that he recognized.
Carol's going to bullshit detect that statement. And he really hears that. I think he's not lying openly.
I know. Perception and empathy, please.
The dice of the gods!
Crom!
It's
That's
the dice of Crom.
What the hell with you?
Yeah. Crom, I have never rolled perception empathy before. I have no time for it. Yeah. But grant me one request. Grant me 4 successes. And if you will not listen, then to hell with you. Oh dear.
Yeah, so you got double.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, he's lying.
Carl just narrows his eyes at him and says, why don't you try it again, Friedrich?
I don't know what you mean, God.
Why do you look so nervous? What are you...
It's because you're threatening me. He struck me earlier, Mutter. He hit me by the hot dog stand.
I'm kind of speechless. At the same time, he's acting like a baby, but at the same time, you know, Carl is also with his googly moogly eyes, you know, being a little loony as well lately. So I'm kind of, I don't know what to say at this point. I'm just like,
why doesn't someone else here take a look at this guy's aura and see what they see? Because I see something a little bit weird.
Masha grabs him by the chin, and he actually tries to jerk back, but her grip is firm enough to basically hold on to his sort of lower lip like that. And then she winds her eyes. They take on a yellow glint like amber. Keep looking into my eyes, little boy. Yes, your ghoul is lying, Anna.
Carl sort of frowns. Goes, ghoul? I don't think I've got this right.
And he means all of us harm except you.
I'll turn my head to him and I'll say, Lily.
They're all going to hang you out to dry, Murta.
What are you saying? And I'll grab his arms that are wrapped around me and I'll like yank them off very stiffly and sternly. What is going on?
No. Yesterday, during the day, I met one of these warlocks, and the warlock told me I could be free. Told me that I could be like you, and that you would be, and told me, he looked into my eyes, and he told me that all I had to do was help them, and that you would be safe because they were so much more powerful than me and Werner and Bruno. That if I helped them, it would help you and it would save you. And he persuaded me that. He looked into my eyes and he told me. He just told me so clearly, and I understood the words. It's because they want to kill you. It's because if you side with these losers, that you're going to die with them.
During his saying this, it's been like my eyes, my teeth have been clenching tighter and tighter, and once he said that, kind of admitted to it, my hands have been like squeezing into fists, and at that point I can't take anymore, and I'll just I won't even slap him. I'll punch him on the temple, even though I'm not, no brawler. You know, it might be a very limp-wristed punch. I'll still, like, as an expression of just such like disgust at him. I feel like a mother would, who hears that one of her sons has sided with an enemy and therefore caused probably the lives of two of his brothers, and I'll just, like, with my eyes big and this kind of, like, not exactly froth coming out of my mouth, but I'll punch him in the temple, and I'll scream at him, "Schwein! You Schwein! You little fucking pig!" And I'll punch him as much as I can. You know, this kind of.
Carl, aware of his surroundings, starts belting out with, "Yeah, you keep your hands off that woman, you big lout."
Okay, I'm not going to make you roll brawling, Eunice, but Carl, could you roll a performance and a charisma, please?
I just rolled that. Was it 5 dice? Back up we go.
Just to see whether everyone believes he struck the first blow on Anna, in which case they're probably all wailing.
I wasn't so much implying that he had struck the blow, but he had his arms round her, and then she sort of shrugged them off and then punched him. So it's like,
oh yeah, that's
don't you hit on that one. Whatever. I'm trusting in my mighty dice. Get 2 successes.
Yeah. Okay. Like, you draw the attention of. Let's look at my random Berliner chart.
Oh, not Hasselhoff again.
Hey, that'll save you. He puts the shoe in. David Hasselhoff was arrested tonight for.
Hasselhoff has a fly kick on his way past. Yeah.
It actually draws the attention of a couple of bikers. who are nearby, who shout, "Get off of her!" And they start putting the heel to him as well. Masha starts pulling Anna backwards.
Yeah, I'm not like I wouldn't want to frenzy, but I am in all human senses. I've completely lost my temper with him. If I was human, I'd be like completely bright red in the face, and he's a serf, he's a betrayer, he's in my eyes, if Werner and was it Fritz who got burned, if they're lost to me, it's directly his fault in my eyes.
Masha essentially pulls you back and is saying, it's okay, we need to get to the Brandenburg Gate, Anna, we cannot wait around for this.
I'll, before
Carl would pipe in at this point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What?
If he knew about the Brandenburg Gate, it means that the wizards know about the Brandenburg Gate too, already. They might have prepared the ground.
When I hear that, I'll just, it'll break me out of this rage, but I'll still turn to Friedrich and I'll spit him in the face and then turn my back at him and walk away from him.
Okay. The three of you walking away from the scene?
Yeah, at least me.
Carl's probably the last to go. He would sort of look, for a moment, look quite sorry and piteous down at the ground to shake his head, and he'll sort of say, "This is probably for the best," before he walks away.
One of the bikers has sort of pulled him up to his feet, and as he does so, he then slaps him around the face. You see Friedrich at that point. Hulking up is the wrong term, but he suddenly sort of throws his head back, clenches his jaw, and then throws his head forward and with enough force to completely shatter the biker's nose and probably his one of his orbitals. Bear in mind, it's worth pointing out, he was given several points of vitae the night before, and he's now acting like the ghoul he potentially can be. But this is sort of in your periphery, Carl. Are you moving on?
As the cops rush past me, yeah.
There's enough cops around, so yeah, the Polizei will probably move in fairly swiftly.
Ein, zwei, Polizei.
Do you want to draw the attention of the police so they deal with him immediately? Or
yeah, let's take this bugger out. I'll just sort of go out to the nearest policeman. Oh my god, look at this riot is breaking out. Like, you can't have this in front of the Hof. Arrest that man.
Yeah, that's a good priority to have. Who cares about the people's safety? You have to protect the image of the Hof.
You have to save the Hof from this indignity. Yes.
Okay, you draw the attention of the police. A couple of men, they put down their cups of coffee. They were enjoying themselves as well, and then they see this guy. One of them says, "Not the first rioter of the evening," and they rush over to him and lay the batons down upon his head.
They lay the smack down on him.
Yes, indeed, they do.
Rocket buster!
One of them brings out a steel chair, seemingly out of nowhere.
As the other one slaps the master lock on him and holds him in place.
Full Nelson! Full Nelson! There's a crash maneuver! Anyway, and so the three of you make your way away.
Yeah. But I did make, of course, I paid attention to what Carl said about the warlocks knowing about our plans because Friedrich knew about our plans, and I'm like, as soon as we kind of exit the immediate scene, I'll be looking at towards everyone in this kind of a. I have no idea what happened with Dieter, and I don't know if we have the time or ability to get a hold of him right now.
No, it is better that the three of us it will have to do.
But like Carl said, it's a very valid point. If they know to expect us, they can expect us to to fight with the Anarchs, and after we're done and poofed and expended all our all our strength, then to swoop in and finish us off. It's
which is why in that case we have to get there and we have to tell both Bridenstine and the Anarchs that the Tremere may well be planning this. We have to make it abundantly clear that that is their plan, so that we can be a unified front against the Tremere.
That may as well, just as he wanted the Anarchs to be either with him or against him, that may very well work to bring them to him, to stand with him. They must understand, they must have, no matter how ideological they are, they must understand that their fantasy of their democratic type of state of their own is, at this time, just a pipe dream. It's whatever they would get at the end of this, it would always be some form, more or less, it would be a compromise. It wouldn't be what they would originally be after. So I wouldn't imagine it being too difficult for them to understand to fight another day.
For some of them maybe, but I'm not sure Schweizig is not prepared to die for what he believes in at this point, and he might be able to carry a few of them with him.
Yes, we will have to do our utmost to try. If he would turn, the others would follow him for sure. That would be our most vital thing to try and muster, to turn Schweizig to the understanding of this is for the greater good, and the only way you can preserve this dream of ever having that sort of a structure, state.
He certainly has no love for the Tremere. Having a pop at them could be a good bargaining chip.
Huh?
That's true. They don't like the Anarchs, have no love for the Tremere either, invading as they have. They respected Airmen to a degree, but they've got no great desire to serve Tremere either. I think, yes, I think you are both correct, and we need to appeal to Reinhardt more than we do his followers. And I do not feel we can do it via Bridenstine. We need to make our way there now, and we need to speak to Reinhardt if he is there.
We left. What about our car? Out of game. Anna is not saying this. What about our car? We arrived with it, but we parked it. So is it?
Yeah, you can reach it. Yeah, you can reach it and drive it off. I think, Carl, you can drive, can't you?
Yeah, I think the Hoff might have gone driving in it though. So.
He's waiting in the back with a bottle of champagne. No, yeah, you get back to your truck, and Carl, you don't have any difficulty driving this truck to the Brandenburg Gate. It's a very well-known monument. It has been on the east side of the wall, but you find that at good old Checkpoint Charlie, the most well-known gate between east and west, the barrier is up, and the soldiers are there, they're shaking hands from east and west, they are exchanging gifts and generally happy. There's plenty of traffic going through it. It's pretty slow moving, but you make your way through within about half an hour and make your way over to the Brandenburg Gate. The number of people here matches that along the wall. The gate itself isn't that far back from the East Berlin side of the wall. But it seems a lot of the populace have decided to take this location to make their, well, proclamation, I suppose, their celebration of the newfound freedoms, whether from the east or the west. And so you make your way out and you will have to walk your way over. But as you're doing so, from even there, you're able to see a couple of recognizable faces in the crowd. Some of them huddled together, some of them split off apart. One of them actually climbed up on one of the statues at the foot of the Brandenburg Gate, sort of taking a look around. There's clearly an anticipation for something big.
I would turn to Carl and say, Carl, can you please use your special powers to actually like see into the crowd and make out?
Make out?
Where Schweizig or any of the anarchs or anyone could be.
Use your special power. Right, Carl uses his special move, if he can, to try to pick out as many of these people as he can.
Okay.
So let's look around here. I don't think I even use, I suppose, heightened senses maybe for sight or something. Who needs it? That's without the lower difficulty.
Sonic boom.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Again, what a surprise.
Yeah, broken up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to recognize Schweizig.
Oddly enough, even my bot helped us.
Yeah, you can see Schweizig. You can pick out all of the anarchs who were there in Italo. Every one of them is there. Even the punk that you saw in the Reichstag, it seems they took no losses during the day.
Carl will just sort of point. I mean, everyone will be pointing, waving, gesticulating. It won't be out of place for us to go there and just point at them and to guide the small group of kindred towards them.
There's a couple of thousand people in this one, just around the gate. You know, it's a big monument, but it's thick with people here. And I'm just going to turn my phone off because it's vibrating. There we
I'll
go.
probably let Masha take the lead because she's the authority figure, so to speak.
Masha leads the two of you over to Reinhard then.
Nice. Thank Christ you gave me that extra willpower so that I can use Majesty on him as well as soon as we.
Does that not affect everyone? Has it got to be used on a specific person?
I think it is. I think it is on a specific person at a time.
Yeah. It's to make one person favourable to you in pretty much any given situation. Which is odd because most presence affect auras. I think kind of affects it. But the way it's described, it seems to only affect one person.
Yeah, it's kind of like a higher level of awe mixed with entrancement, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of.
No, he knows.
You approach Reinhard, who is stood there he's wearing denims and is actually sort of leaning on a big, rather dangerous-looking stick that he, just by approaching it, you can see that it's coated in dry blood. He doesn't care, despite the fact there's thousands of people around him. This has been used for smashing in skulls earlier this evening, or by ghouls or mortals during the day. He's clearly wielding it as a sign of some kind of, this is my scepter, I am a warlord. And he's got about 4 anarchs in his close proximity. Reinhard raises an eyebrow as Masha exits the crowd with the two of you in tow.
And I will immediately, before anyone even opens their mouths, I will spend that willpower point in order to have the effects of Majesty on him. And does it seem like Masha is expecting to open the conversations with him, or does it feel like I can just chime in without it seeming like I'm stepping on Masha's shoes?
Masha seems about ready to say something to him.
Okay, well then, in that case, I'll wait a little bit.
But he smiles as he sees both of you. The last time you met, you parted on cordial terms. And she lowers her head. Reinhard, how has your war been going? Better than anyone could have hoped, Masha. I see you still have your friends, your brethren in tow. It's good to see you're still safe despite all Tremere and Eastern depredations. I hear there have been Nosferatu out in the night. Yes, there have. But it is regarding the Tremere that we are here. We have strong suspicion they intend to plan some kind of ambush or trap. We have been here for the past half hour. We would have spotted if there were any Tremere around. They may have mortal servants, they may have warded the area, they may have set up some kind of ritual. We know what they have done to the Torridor of the city already. We cannot rule out that the entire area is rigged to explode. Now that Reinhard does look around. The East Berliners are to come here too. They would not do such. No. This is where we are making our stand, Masha.
No, my dear Reinhard, please. Your most precious quality has always been your directness and your bluntness. Please. The blunt, honest truth about this is that there has been a mole who has tattletaled that this place is a hub for anarchs and the Easterners to meet to formulate any sort of possibilities of truce or allegiances or any of the sort.
There can be no allegiance, although I do appreciate your words.
No, please, just hear me out. The thing is that they know that we are about to meet, and whether or not we are about to enter peaceful negotiations or get at each other's throats around here, all of us, it's still serving their ends. They are looking from the sidelines. This place is basically, this is like a meat grinder right now that we're in. We're standing on the edges of a Tremere meat grinder waiting to devour us all, as we would either negotiate nor strike at each other. They would stand aside and wait. Whatever comes out of it, they will swoop in and pick the carcasses up. They will pick the scraps. They will descend upon us, and they will make us burn. Now, whatever we are going to talk about, whatever allegiances, whatever truces, whatever future plans, whatever relationships and bridges are going to be built and burned, that is secondary at this point, because our common enemy thinks it's our primary concern. It is not. It is those who think it is that is our primary concern. And please, this is. I know you well enough that you can look at me in the eye, and I won't have to worry about you thinking that I'm lying when I'm not. And believe me, I'm not.
Carol pipes up at this point and says quietly, Reinhard, Mr. Schweizig, sorry, I'm just a kid, but ultimately, I know you're a political idealist and everything, and I consider myself somewhat one of those two. But if you're going to make a stand, you shouldn't do it on ground that your enemy's chosen for you. You should do it somewhere where you've picked the ground and you've picked the location. This is suicide, not heroism.
And I can assure you, no matter what historical events have shown otherwise, you being alive serves your cause 100-fold more than your martyrdom ever could. You know, no matter how how much it might sting. Your movement is not as strong as it needs to be, and without you, it would just scatter and scamper around and form small little factions that would strike at each other for a specific view of how the Anarchs are supposed to go on from this, without you being at its head as its shepherd. You are among the most reasonable of the primogen of the formerly known West Berlin. You have such power in your hands when it comes to your own comrades' lives and their futures and their dreams and your own ideology that it's simple lunacy to throw it away. And I'm speaking as someone who's not even part of your group, and I'm begging you to look for the actual future and the health care of your own group and own ideology. Please.
I've also heard you're a man of action, and while we're standing here talking, the noose could be closing around our necks.
I would like Anna to do a manipulation and expression. It's specifically the point about don't be a martyr. Clearly that's what's on Reinhardt's mind. This is the place where he wants people to remember the great Anarch hero Reinhard Schweitig fell in service to his aims. The Brandenburg Gate, what a better place to do it. But as you've got Majesty going, I'm going to reduce the difficulty beyond what it would usually be, because it's something he's pretty stalwart on. You need to get 6s and above, so it's a nice standard difficulty for you.
I'm still going to use 1 willpower point, if I may.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 3, 10, 5, 3, 3, 5. So only 1 success, but I used that willpower point, so 2. No, 10. That's a 10, so that was a 2, actually.
So it's a sensational success.
Yeah, so 3 successes in total.
You see his hand gripping the shillelagh that he's basically leaning on.
The masher, we'll call it.
Yeah. And he chews over your words, rolling his eyes. Your words, Toreador, ring with some truth. I fell in 1945, and I never knew who struck me down. Did the Anarch movement leap up to defend my name and rage in my stead? No, it fractured and fell to pieces. It was only through my waking again that it has become strong again. I do not see how there can be an alliance between the Anarchs and East Berlin, but you have persuaded me. I will not just give away my life for no good reason. I'm too old to do that, and I recognize the truth in your words. I sincerely do. So, my friends, the Toreador, what would you propose the Anarch to do?
The Tremere, the Warlocks. At this point, there is no Ehrman, there is no Otto von Humboldt. They are finished. The only enemy still left is the invading Hamburg Prince and his Warlocks. We don't need to be anything but one-track mind when it comes to them. In that sense, we don't...
At that point, you actually hear a rumbling voice behind you, and it's Bridenstine. Only one enemy? I see Anarchs all over this place. All of my agents see Anarchs all over this place. Thank you for acting as mediator, Anna Van Hagen, but we will take it from here.
Carl doesn't recognise this man. Just turns around and looks at him.
I'm completely like, I don't know what to do at this point. I mean, Anna doesn't know what to do at this point. She's she's immediately like chills go down her spine, and she's immediately like
Given the
stiff.
given the words he's using, anarchs, and yeah, Carl's not using, going to know who he is, but he assumes he's in the know, so to speak, and just kind of frowns at him. He'll go all Admiral Akbar on him and say, the Tremere are aware of this location. We have to get out of here.
I'll at that point when I hear that kind of breaks me out of it. I'll turn around and immediately look at Einstein in the face, and I'll immediately be like, "It's not safe here for you, my prince, please."
Reinstein twists his neck to look down at Carl and goes, and looking at Anna. You have served loyally so far. Reinhard, we will meet, but not here then. Reinhard shakes his head. No, the Anarchs are coming with you, Prince Bridenstine. We will go wherever you go at this time. It is the Tremere that are our mutual enemy. Van Hagen and Schweitz have convinced me of that. We are best with our backs to one another at this time.
At this point, Carl realises who he just shouted it's a trap at, and kind of.
Fine, let's go. We can go further into the east.
Wunderbar.
There's a hurried procession of all of the kindred that were within this congregation of a couple of thousand suddenly start to peel off, and it's only at this time you realise how many kindred had actually turned up here. This could well, as you imagined, have been yet another Reichstag just out in the open. Would the Tremere be so flagrant as to set off some kind of ambush amongst the kine? You actually think there's around 50, maybe even 60 kindred. You didn't know how many were in East Berlin before now. But it seems that almost, if this comprises all of the East Berliners, there were a lot here, and they're all going in the same direction. Some of them may even be anarchs you've not met before. You recognise Rosa Rothschild and her child.
Oh, wonderful. I was just thinking that there might easily be some so-dying-a-wool East-West mindset people who have sacrificed for it and that sort of thing, that it wouldn't be too far-fetched for somebody to bring a Molotov cocktail to this gathering, so in that sense, if the Tremere might easily be bold enough to do something like that, because it wouldn't be that out of the imaginable.
All they'd have to do is set off a riot with agents in the crowd. But.
Well, yeah, and when a vampire dies, he doesn't leave much to report on.
But yeah, do we see Rosa in front of us or something?
No, you see her somewhat down the road, walking down through another section of the gate. But everyone's going in the same direction. Reinhard has kind of signalled to his people that we're moving in that direction. Bridenstine has given a jerk of his head, and pretty much everyone is following along.
Carol's going to keep an eye out on the path we're taking, just to be sure we're not actually walking into the jaws of the waiting Tremere here.
As Carl, you're looking around, do a perception and alertness, please. Mega dice.
And I will be using heightened senses, I think.
You can use a willpower point as well if you like.
No, I'm not going to go that far. With this dice pool at difficulty 4, are you serious? So that'll kill that, and then we drop the hammer. I see the face of. I can see the Hoff from here. Right, he's halfway across the city. I can see him.
You're going like 2001 Space Odyssey, like.
Yeah.
I can see colors, man.
That's it.
He's filled with stars.
I can see the future.
Yeah, you see like the sky baby as well in space.
I can see clearly now the rain has gone. So.
Yeah, you don't see the Hoff. But with, as ever, your fantastic array of successes, you do actually recognize one Glenda Cron. Who was
Cron! I've never played you before.
She's staying within the crowd, but she's even got a hood up. But you recognise that severe-looking face.
Carol will point her out rather quickly and say, "That's the Cron. That's the shot putter woman from the Reichstag. They're watching us now."
Playing on your conspiracy theories again. She sees you pointing her out, and as you do so, she turns away and starts filing back into the crowd. Bridenstine doesn't really, if he's listening to you, he doesn't make any signal that he is, but Masha looks back and says, "If the Tremere are back there and we're going in this direction, then that's A-okay for me."
No. If that Tremere's back there, and she's letting the ones that are over there know that we're all coming...
Prince Bridenstine.
We have been scouted. It's like a game of StarCraft in Berlin.
Recon standing by.
That's it.
Red 2, Fox 3 standing by.
Bridenstine, they've scouted our double gas expand. What are you going to do about it?
Prince Bridenstine, there are Tremere in the crowd and they've noticed us. They've moved back into the crowd, but they may well be anticipating where we're headed. Bridenstine, as you've made your way clear of the crowd, and there's a lot of vampires milling about in the road, Bridenstine stops, sniffs the air, points at a Chinese takeaway. Actually, you're in East Berlin, so that's unlikely. Points at a delicatessen and says, "Schweissig, Van Hagen, Schweissig, Toreador, David." Siegel appears out of nowhere. "In there now. Everyone else disperse."
What was it, like a deli or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll immediately look at my comrades there, and I'll, as soon as I see one of them take the first step, I'll come on.
Carol will just change course. He's up for some of this action. He's going to keep looking around nervously and make his way to the deli.
The door's locked, but with a firm shove, Bridenstine just shoulders it open. And as you all file in, he closes the door, pulls down the blind, switches the lights on, and says, "Reinhard, that side of the table." And he stands on the other side. "With these witnesses here, we need to form a formal alliance. Witnesses from the west, David here from the east. It needs to be tabled, it needs to be seen. Here is my edict. I am now Prince of Berlin, and your anarchs are free to remain anarchs within Berlin. The true threat is Siegfried of Hamburg. Are we agreed on that?" Reinhard nods. And then he says, "What do you mean we can remain anarchs of Berlin? You're still going to oppress us, aren't you? You will be expected to conform by the traditions of the Camarilla, but I will impose only my own traditions on Camarilla kindred. If you are announcing yourself as Anarch, if you appear in Elysium calling yourself Anarch, you do not have to adhere to my particular rulings. That means I charge you with responsibility over your own sect. If you allow your sect to step out of line and step onto the Camarilla traditions, then you will be held accountable and justice will be swift." Reinhard Schweissig. "So I have now got to treat every anarch like they are my child?" "Yes." Reinhard is paused.
Can I make any can I affect this in any way?
Yeah. If you want, Reinhardt's going to come out with his answer in about 15 seconds. So you've got
Yeah,
to.
I'm not gonna chime in, and I'm not gonna blurt out anything. But I'm going to try and use entrancement on him simply through body language. I won't undercut Bridenstine by asserting my own authority into this negotiation, but I will try and get his attention and try to just give him like the sort of thing that he could read from me, that this is like already the majesty has been used on him, and that I just want to exemplify that this is like a imperative. It would crush me if you were to decline. It's like this, please. But yeah, it's appearance plus empathy roll, and I assume 1 blood point, right? Yes?
I will just check. Yeah, it's a blood point on appearance and empathy. Difficulty equal to the target's current willpower point, so difficulty is going to be 6.
Okay. That's 25974, so 2 successes.
Reinhard narrows his eyes, looks over at Anna, looks back to Bridenstine. That is agreeable, Prince Gustav. Fine.
I will visibly make sure that I have this expression of relief and this immense gratitude towards him.
While the political meeting's going on, Carol's going to scout about for a back way
out. You enter the... Well, just to explain what just happened, Reinhard then grabs one of the deli knives, cuts his palm, and then holds it out to shake with Gustav. Gustav, rather reluctantly, cuts his own, and the two of them share a blood oath to the effect of their previous agreement. And Carl, as you head into the back, you're in a kitchen of a deli full of ingredients, full of fantastic food. It's probably the most well-stocked deli, full of fresh food from East Berlin, food that you would very rarely get a chance to experiment or play with.
I didn't even wait for you to ask. So, yeah, self-control. Carl will pause, will stop in his tracks and look at it, finger some of the hanging sausages and meats, and then sort of like shake his head and kind of like try to get back on course for just finding the rear exit.
As you're making your way towards the rear exit, it opens. Joanna Richter is walking in with Glenda behind.
Can I get back to the meeting room in time, or is it just...
Yeah, you can turn around and sort of backpedal.
Yeah, Carl's going to celerity back into the room, I think, to try to do it quicker, so they don't see me doing it. The flash.
Do a stealth and dexterity, please, to do it before anyone...
Dex stealth. Ooh, that's a hell of a good... Stealth, not so much. Don't even have any. Oh, I do have stealth. There we go. Okay, and I take it because is this a... Do I get the celerity passive because this is a...
Yeah, I'll allow that.
A dex-related action. Okay, so that's 2 more dice. Oh. Right, so there's all... Oops. So yeah, 2 successes.
Okay, you blur back into the main counter area where the Anarch, Baron, and Prince are still shaking hands. This has all been about 3 seconds of time.
Yeah, I'll just quietly sort of point behind myself and just say, Richter's coming with Kron.
As you say that, at the front of the deli, Prendergast and some other vampires you don't recognize outside the front of the deli as one of them hammers on the window, and you see Prendergast's face sort of looking around the corner of the blind. Reinhard doesn't wait. He's still got his shillelagh in his hand, and he hurls himself out the front window of the deli.
Alright, if you're going to flash hard. Have I still got
Is he throwing himself on the window like to escape?
No, I'm throwing himself out with the club in hand, basically, to meet battle with the Tremere that are outside.
Oh, yeah.
Carl will equip himself with a knife if he's not still got the one he had earlier.
Yeah, I think you've got them on you, and there's plenty here as well, nice and sharp.
Yeah, Carl reblenderizes himself. He's not going to barrel out the window after him, although he might look at the other two Toreador and say, "This might be a good time to run."
What are you doing?
I'm sticking close to Carl. Carl is, of my clan, the most able in these dangerous situations. I'm huddling like I'm like his shadow at this point. Wherever he feels like it's good to run off to, I'll run with him, because for my entire existence as a vampire, I've always relied on my boys, and none of them are here. So I'm completely reliant on Carl's instincts at this point.
You are in serious trouble.
Well, what can you do? Save me,
Schweitz, you're my only hope.
Marsha likewise picks up a knife, but she starts to glow quite effervescently as she kicks in one of her abilities. Bridenstine rather slowly and almost Darth Vader-like just marches over towards the back door where he said Richter was coming in, and he throws it open, the door to the kitchen.
Back up on the way.
So
what does Siegel do? Is he vanished again?
Siegel has indeed vanished.
Ah, fuck.
Can I?
Not going to do anything. It's just can't see him doing it.
No matter how awkward it would be at this point, I really need to take a quick bathroom break. So.
No, when you come back from your piss, I'll be dead. It's a piss of death.
Well, we better not start the action sequence.
No. To everyone else, this action sequence will be the most important event of the week, but to us, it's just Sunday.
It penetrates bullet trains. Tokyo, Osaka.
As soon as you said, what was it, his voice penetrates, I was like, it penetrates, yes. That's it. And it penetrates me. For the Street Fighter movie is obviously the greatest piece of cinematography ever produced. And Raul Julia's performance as M. Bison is... How it didn't win an Oscar, I can't say.
No, some things just aren't fair in this world. What I am going to do at this point is actually roll for Bridenstine's attempt
to smack down
to shoot fireballs at a Psycho Crusher his way through the kitchen. He suddenly jumps into the air and lands 2 feet first on top of Richter's head.
Sure, you can. He dragon punches Kron through the window.
Bridenstine Psycho Crushed his way through the kitchen.
And he's a psycho and he just crushed them, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, we'll deal with what happened to Bridenstine first. I've just rolled for him. An immense number of successes, you'll be pleased to know. Carl.
See what's a party, Richter!
Yeah, pretty much. He just ripped her arms off. No, nothing so blunt. Right, in terms of where you're stood, which one of you wants to be near the front door of the deli? Because we've not really said marching order,
I don't
essentially. And
think
which one of you
Carl
wants
will
to
be
back
there
in?
because I just came in from the back, so I'm probably...
No, you'll be in the kitchen door.
Yeah, I would be right behind him, so I would be like literally like behind him. Like I would almost like peek from behind his shoulder, like.
I might lean towards going back because I know there's two people in there and I don't know how many are out in the front.
Okay. Basically, what you see is this. Bridenstine is practically blocking the doorway. He is a big man, a big vampire. But you can see Richter on the other side of the door. It looked like she was just painting something on the door. She had blood leaking out of her fingertips that was going down the door, and he just sort of flung it open, and it's just him there now getting blood painted down his chest. And he...
Bridenstine is now warded against Kindred, fantastic.
Yeah.
He hits her with his chest. A chest bump of death for Richter.
He just stares her dead in the eyes, and you see her face crumple, where she was looking confident and intent on the ritual that she was just marking up on this deli that may well have made it go into some kind of inferno. Now her eyes are just gushing vitae as she withers up, crumples, and starts mewling like a crying babe. You can't see Bridenstine, but you can't see his eyes. But they have just turned pitch black as Richter spins on the spot and throws herself at Glenda Kron bodily and starts attacking her.
Okay.
Well, I can't get in there because Bridenstine's in the way. So I'm just going to make sure no one shanks him in the arse.
So which of the two of you has the higher dexterity? We'll just go on that.
I'm going to guess it's me with 4.
Yeah, I have dexterity of 3.
Someone's trying to batter down the front door. So, Schweitz, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry, let's have them.
You can hold your action if you like.
No, it looks to me like
Bridenstine.
I'm going to I would say I'll probably go like full defence here, just like sort of stand behind them with meat cleaver and knife in hand, and just prepare to burn celerity if I need to.
Anna, are you just sort of clinging to the back of Schweitz?
No, actually, I'm going to, like, behind his shoulder, I'm going to use Dread Gaze on which Tremere were actually inside there.
In the kitchen, Richter, who has been possessed by Bridenstine, and Kron.
Do it to Prendergast as he peers around the blinds.
Yeah, Prendergast is just peering around the blind at the front, or was until Schweizig just threw himself through the window. But so you can't really see Prendergast, but you can see Kron, who is trying to backpedal away from her Chancellor and Regent in the form of Joanna Richter.
Okay. So the one who isn't being mind controlled or possessed by Bridenstine, and the one who we can't see, the one that's left, so bad with names. I'll use Dread Gaze on them. And
Okay.
Just from behind the shoulder, I'll just.
You are Gustav
Okay.
Bridenstine's second head at this point.
Yeah,
It's
Gustav.
more scary
Get
face.
out of the way.
I can just imagine Bridenstine being there with his folded arms being, all I see is talk and no action. You must not be concerned about your friend. He's probably dead by now. Doing the bison line.
Charisma plus intimidation, please.
Yeah.
Your difficulty is going to be a 6.
This is just my Toreador. Surely you've heard of it.
Salacious Crumb.
What the shit? 2, 10, 10, 10, 9, 7. I'm not even shitting you. I'm not even shitting you. There's... Yeah, there's...
Great success.
Yes, great success!
You've done David Hasselhoff proud.
Oh yeah, this is my best role in perhaps in years.
This is the finest dice in the Kazakhstan. Feel the quality.
I'm so proud. No, it's actually D&D. I got double critical successes right back from one another. So this is my second best roll from all year. So yeah, that's 2 successes plus those 3 that are all doubles. So are they all counted as doubles or?
Run away in abject fear. She's more terrified of you than she is of the possessed Joanna Richter, who still goes tearing off after her as Bridenstine is possessing her at this time. But yeah, the kitchen, the back way out of the deli, is now free.
Yeah, he's burly nuts, son.
He's dying, motherfucker.
He's side, eh?
Dear God, I feel bad for it. I apologise to everyone. I apologise to God, to David Hasselhoff. Well, that's the same person, of course. The front door is smashes in the glass within it as Prendergast climbs through the blind and into the shop. He was expecting to be meeting Richter here for some kind of pincer movement, but instead is greeted, of course.
The blades of Carl Schweitz.
Yeah, go for a melee and dexterity.
Yeah, it's time for Blendomatic time for this. This is when I'll roll bad now. So melee. Oh yeah, of course. Yep. Melee and dex is 6 plus 2. I'm actually a bit of a combat machine when it comes down to it. Here we go. He hits with 5, 6 successes with his Blendomatic.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Off with his head.
Alright, Prendergast is going to attempt to dodge. He can't get that many successes unless he gets all 10. Okay, well, he gets 3 successes. That still means you hit with, what was it? 3?
3. So,
yeah, 3.
yeah.
Okay. Then in that case, are you taking multiple actions with your celerity?
Yeah, just in case I need to hack him again.
Okay. Well, we need to evaluate damage on your first attack.
So this is with the meat cleaver. Is that +1?
Yeah.
So strength +1 plus 2. My strength is 2.
Plus 2 plus 1.
+1 for the weapon, +2 for the criticalness of the damage. It's 5 dice.
Yeah, ready. Go.
This is lethal damage. 3 with the first swipe.
Okay, and he's going to roll to soak. Of course, he is a Tremere, although that's a bit metagamey.
Only I'd known he had fortitude.
He didn't soak very well. He soaked enough. He only takes 1 point of lethal damage.
Chop.
Which is...
bruised.
Yeah.
Or cut, I suppose, in this case.
Yeah, so you can take a second swing.
Yeah, and I definitely will. And this one not quite as successful.
No. Well, he's already tried to dodge one, so he can't dodge again.
Yeah. This is the beauty of celerity. So 1 + 1 + 2 this time. And it's success all round. 4.
Oh, okay. Let's see how he does this. Oh, shit. Soaking that one. He still soaks 3 of those, but that's still another swipe across him. So describe what you've done with the meat cleaver and the knife, as you've done 2 points of damage with them.
Well, Carol will have sort of like pretty much appeared in front of him, and he'll have had enough time to see the meat cleaver, which he was rearing back in his hand, and it'll be like a downward stroke. And as Prendergast sort of manages to rock his body back, Carol just sort of clips down his chest, leaving a big red gash in his shirt, cleaving a couple of buttons off it, bursting his suit open. What he failed to see was the second swipe from the ambidextrous Schweitz, as the knife then is brought up in a sort of underhanded stabbing motion, and it catches him kind of in the sort of rib area. Because he's leaning back, it's not exactly the most deep of stabs, but it does pierce in to where his lungs would be, causing him to sort of wheeze slightly while he's looking down at the sharp bit of metal penetrating out of his ribs. Carol then just brings the meat cleaver down again for the third swipe.
Okay, that's some nasty shit on Prendergast.
Okay. And this isn't going to be quite as good, I don't think.
I don't know, that's still pretty good.
Oh no, just yep. So 3, he hits again.
Okay,
so
damage please.
2 + 1 + 2. And this is 2 less damage this time.
Also, I'm afraid.
Boo. You don't get a dice
although it
penalty.
penetrates the flesh, the blood does not ooze out. It's like cutting into a sponge. As Prendergast looks up at you witheringly, slices cut across him, and he's about to snarl something in your direction when you all hear the sound of the rallying army of East Berliners and Anarchs who are sweeping back towards your location. The Tremere with their backs to them. Hooray! Yeah, the time is better.
It's the Prussian charge at Waterloo, that's what this is.
The Germans never forget. As they sweep in.
As Steven Seagal appears and performs the crane technique.
And the rest is montage as Siegel pummels the enemies of Bridenstine, and Johanna Richter tears off, now a mental slave to Bridenstine, at least for the time being. Prendergast falls to his knees and puts his hands up in a conciliatory gesture. Leaving Schweitz and Van Hagen, Bridenstine will turn around and will decide if there's something he wants to do with them. Are the two of you going to
see the Tremere Primogen kneeling before Schweitz? That's it. Here we go.
What are your intentions towards Prendergast?
I don't think Carol probably doesn't think it's for him to decide. So he would just sort of stand there with the blades in hand, just with the scene unfolding in front of him. He probably sees no need to kind of hack at him. He'll probably take a couple of steps back and let him be apprehended by people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of when it comes to Prendergast, it's not personal for me in a sense. So I don't feel it's my place either to deal the final blow, so I as well kind of step back and let the higher ups deal with that.
Well, Bridenstine's about to say something, but then Masha slides in with the knife repeatedly and recites the names of her clanmates who were killed as a result of the Tremere's rituals, and including Helga.
Yeah, Carol looks slightly embarrassed for a moment when she says that, and then as his eyes kind of roll up into his head, he suddenly glances up and looks down at Prendergast, and a sick smile spreads across his face as he starts literally probably dropping the knives that he's carrying and kind of clapping it.
When Masha starts to recite those names, do I hear her mention my sire?
You do.
Once I hear that, once I hear her mention my sire, I'm kind of overtaken by the shame that I should have been the one to do exactly what Marsha is doing. And at that point, I look at Schweitz, who has the meat cleaver and the knife, and I'll go to take the knife from his hand, not like snatch it, but I'll like put my hand on his hand and like look at him for him to relinquish the weapon. And,
he smiles at you broadly in a strange face that you don't often see him wearing, more and more frequently these days, which crosses his face just as the name Helga's mentioned, which you may or may not associate with. And he gladly relinquishes it to you, and he's like, yes, let's all take a turn,
Where did Marsha stab him repeatedly?
She's plunging the knife down between in the neck and the collarbone.
Oh, okay.
Because he's already fallen to his knees to beg for mercy.
I'll grab his hair with my left hand, and I'll clench my teeth visibly, hold back tears if I can, and I'll say Werner, and stab him in the eye socket, just like with the kitchen knife into the eye socket, and I'll say it was Fritz, yeah, and I'll say Fritz, and I'll stab him in the other eye. And I'll pull it out, and I'll say, Friedrich, you can keep him, and I'll spit him in the face.
Bridenstine does not try and stop you as you do make a Caesar salad of poor old Albert Prendergast. What did he ever do? Wrong clan, wrong time. He explodes into slick, bloody ash across the floor of the deli, staining your clothes, but there's a stench of victory, of gore, that emanates from within him.
Carl smiles down at the carnage. Yes, you burned my house, you piece of shit.
I just found it funny that we're like, our dearest loved one said, you burned down me house! Me shack! Sorry for making fun of your accent.
My toilet and everything, you burnt my cludgy, you bastard! I will gladly ham up the Scottishness for you, for your entertainment, Janice, just for you.
The
my house, you wee shite bag!
The remaining battle takes place over 5 minutes, no longer. Some of the Tremere attempt to escape, but most of them are rounded up. There isn't all Tremere. There's other kindred that have been brought here from Hamburg. Some of them are even kindred of West Berlin that decided to throw in with Prince Siegfried. Siegfried himself isn't anywhere nearby. He's not part of a lynching party.
Well, out of interest, do I see either Dieter or Schuller there?
No, you don't see either of them.
Okay.
But within minutes, the conflict is concluded, and Bridenstine steps out into the street with you at his rear. Reinhard is there, pretty much covered head to foot in blood, and you can only be thankful that you are so far back from the festivities, from the celebrations, that no one has paid any attention to this massive gang war that's just taken place. If given the fact that it's vampires who are being destroyed, again, there's no bodies laying across the ground, but there's quite a lot of blood. And most of the people probably would have, any witnesses would have thought that this great congregation was another party going on, until blades started flashing. So Bridenstine makes a swift announcement. All of you, I am now your prince. Schweissig is the Baron of the Anarchs of Berlin. He will be able to tell the Anarchs of Berlin our terms. There is now peace in Berlin. The invaders of Hamburg have been driven back, and any that hold out will be shown no mercy. I will personally see to the hunt of the fleeing Joanna Richter, just in case we have need of a Tremere on the council. But this is the way Berlin is now. I am your prince. Do any dare oppose me?
As Karl strikes him from the rear. No.
There's a hush across the street. Disperse before a masquerade breach becomes imminent.
I'll do a kind courtesy, and then I'll look at Karl. And
Karl's probably come back to himself by now and looks a bit confused. But when he says, disperse, etc., Karl will just sort of take Masha by the arm and sort of nod towards the vehicle.
Anna.
Yes?
Are you coming?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was you as a GM talking. So yeah, well, I could have been a little bit out of it at that point, but yeah, when they call for me, I'll come around like, yes, of course, yes.
I'm going to ask you, as you're heading back towards the Brandenburg Gate, partly feeling there's elation that you have just won a victory. There is deflation that you may be all that's left of the Toreador now. And that seems to be it's finally setting in now that after all of this, you are still potentially the weakest clan in the city. Well, aside from the Tremere now.
But there's still, Rosa is still there, and
yeah.
I'm going to be making two new vampires, and but yeah, definitely with Helga gone and everybody else, it's.
As you make your way back towards the Brandenburg Gate, I'm going to ask both of you to make a perception plus alertness, as this game should be called the Ivory Perception plus Alertness.
The Ivory Wall. Oh, feel me now, dice.
3, 5, 4, so nothing.
3 for me.
Karl.
Yes.
You see, leaning against the back of a van, one of its doors open, a bloodied and bruised and restrained and looking somewhat bewildered Werner. It would appear he's been abandoned by whoever his guards were. It doesn't look like Anna's seen him.
Karl, after he sort of helps Masha go in front of him, and then turns to Anna and says, "Quickly, come with me," and he rushes over to the van.
I'll follow him.
You immediately then spot Werner looking quite bewildered and out of it, quite lost and confused.
I'll be overrun with emotion. It's I had already like told myself and tried to like mentally prepare myself for the fact that he is dead, and when I see him there, it's it's like this is the best prize I could have been given out of all this um, because yeah, it's like one of your children coming back from the dead. I'll run immediately at him, and I will just slam myself against him as I wrap my arms around him, and I squeeze him tight and kiss him on the side of his head, and I'll just repeat, "I thought you were dead. I thought you were dead."
Oh, young lady, I do not even know where I've been, let alone if I've been dead. What's going on?
Oh, my dear Werner, it's over. It's over. The East reigns supreme, and we're all under their rule in good terms. And
Are you my daughter?
what?
Are you my daughter? I struggle to remember. I feel like amnesia or something, like I've been hit over the head. My hands are bound. I do not know where I've been for years. For years, I feel like my mind's been emptied out, like someone might empty their pockets.
Carl will use one of his remaining arsenal to cut him free.
Okay. Oh, thank you, young man.
But he'll kind of be glancing up at Anna from behind him with a sort of look of concern in his face.
My brain is telling me what has happened, but my heart is not wanting to comply. I still have my hands on the top of his chest, and I'm looking into his eyes, and my eyes just going from one eye to the other, focusing, and just tears are about to burst out of my head as I'm. What are you saying?
I'm dreadfully embarrassed. Thank you for cutting me free, but I do not recognize either of you. If you are people I know, I'm grateful for you. My name is Werner, and thank you for. But I do not know who you are. But if you can take me back to where somewhere safe, or maybe to a doctor or to the police. Not that I know what the police could do. I appear to have been abandoned, but really any help would be appreciated.
I'll like lower my head a little bit, and then I'll caress his chest and shoulders a little bit, and I'll raise my head and look him in the eyes, and I'll use my I'll use a blood point to use entrancement on him. I will if I can't have him as a ghoul, I'll have him as a vessel. I will have him nonetheless. And I'll do the roll. 79611, so only one success.
That's fine. His eyes lock on yours, and a smile, a very familiar smile, runs across his face. Could you roll humanity, please?
What?
Could you roll your humanity rating, please?
I'm going to not tell him outright who, like I'm his wife, I'm his daughter, or anybody. I'm just going to tell him that I'm going to take you home. That's 4, 8, 10, 3, 5, 6, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, of which one is a 10. So 5.
Fair enough. You
rip his face off for his cheek.
You take the old man by the arm. He's very grateful. As
Is there anything else in this truck that is worth?
yeah, you look in the back of the van.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not much to report. It's an Ardus Enterprises van, and it looks like Werner was at some point bound in there, bound in the back, but there's nothing else. So there is a key in the ignition.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the van. Just go back to the truck we were using before then, if there's nothing else.
Now, as my doorbell has just rang, I'm going to be back in a second.
Yeah.
Now you go with the amazing dancing Jonas.
Let the games begin.
That's right. I'm just going to roll a random amount of dice on Dice Stream to see if I can. I swear, right? I am known, and anyone that plays Vampire the Masquerade YouTube experiment will tell you this. I am known for having quote-unquote Scottish dice rolls, which are the worst in the world. I cannot roll a success to save myself in that venue. However, in this game, it's pretty much anything I do. I punch Kane in the face. It's 19 natural 10s. Only one success on that roll. Fantastic.
Do you feel better now?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I'm confused. I was confused by the beauty of your dancing. That's what it was.
Yes, it's the. Let me perform the dance of my people.
Incredible Finnish folk dance.
Yes.
Oh dear. I would perform the dance of my people, but I don't think there's enough room in here to like.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a blur feature or a censor feature or anything like that.
What is the dance of my people anyway? Well, there is Scottish folk dancing. That's true.
I'm just imagining the wind gushing from the ground floor and catching your kilt, making it.
The Marilyn Monroe moment.
Yeah.
Well, I think the kilt was quite deliberately made of the heaviest wool we could find, in the sense that it's very difficult for a wind to manoeuvre that thing at all.
Yeah, I would imagine.
We were wearing them when we were in Toronto once, and we all had kilts on. And all of the Canadians that we met were all like, oh yeah, you guys must be doing okay, like, even though it was roasted, it was absolutely boiling hot. Oh, you must be alright if you put that skirt on. And we were like, I'm wearing half a sheep, son. You ever seen a cold sheep? I'm absolutely fucking roasting. Right now you could bathe in the sweat on my balls. Oh yeah, I just said that in public. Fantastic.
It's always nice when your parents drop over out of the blue and you got to tell them, bugger off.
It could have been worse. They could have come in and heard what I just said, so that would have been alright. It was the lesser of two evils that you tell them to get lost in.
Just wishing me a happy anniversary. Well, me and the wife.
Happy anniversary from everyone at Vampire. Happy anniversary.
And that's what we'll end up with, the Return of the Jedi style musical number in Berlin.
That was the Kraftwerk version of Happy Anniversary.
No, but honestly, if we're going to like wrap up the whole storyline, basically, is there still going to be stuff that we're going to do during the session, or are we like?
Well, I almost feel like it could be worth having an epilogue.
Yeah, but at least let's go through like what.
Yeah, I want to just end it right there. Well, let's start with you, Anna. In the coming nights, this is what happens politically. So you're not screwed over by Bridenstine and the Ventru. They don't suddenly rescind all of the offers and the rewards for loyalty. His victory was given, and it was by a large part of the actions of the Toreador. And therefore you are granted the right to embrace two of your ghouls, and to keep one of them as a ghoul. But
I'd like to suggest that Carol might say, if you don't want to kill one of them, he could take one as his ghoul.
No. Not going to happen. But the thing is, see, once I would have gotten home, I would have basically done the whole seduction thing for Werner that I originally would have done for him, perhaps, and I would have made him one of my vessels. I would have made him basically be like me, be irresistible to him, and all that sort of stuff. I would just have him around because he was, of my boys, the one that I felt the most respect toward, felt that was the most mature and was the most reliable and was perhaps the most my number one son. But I will not use him as a vessel for myself or for anybody else. I will just have him be around as this loving vessel of mine type of thing, who doesn't ever need to know that any of the vampire stuff exists. But as soon as I would have had that taken care of, I would have tried to summon Fritz to see if I could get any connection with him, because it was never disclosed whether or not he died.
No. But I will say this. Well, in fact, you may not be aware of it until after. So you try to summon Fritz, and as I had not rolled to see whether he had died, he had taken an awful lot of damage, as he was never found. Fritz, after you wait for several nights, hoping that Fritz will return, he does not return.
Okay. In that case, I will mourn his death, and I will not keep a single ghoul for myself, because Fritz is dead. Friedrich is worse than dead, is scum. Werner is just my little Werner, and who are left are Klaus, who most likely has survived his hospitalization, and Bruno, and those two I will turn into my children.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
I'll have Klaus and Bruno, just like in Nosferatu Phantom der Nacht. It will be Bruno and Klaus. Like Bruno Ganz and Klaus Kinski.
Okay, and Carl,
Yeah.
you find that you've lost your job at O'Tolly's.
I'm stunned.
Despite how fantastic you were as a chef, and in fact your boss says this to you when you turn up for work out of the blue. He says, "You know something, kid? He's American. You know, he's David
still
Hasselhoff. Look."
I've been watching you.
Imagine the opportunity you missed. If it's Hasselhoff who's now firing you, it's crushing.
I'm turning this place into a Hasselhoff's, and you ain't working here, sir.
In the shadow of the
Fendels.
Oh dear.
Your manager says you were always too good for this place. You were always trying to add too much to the burgers, make them more than they were. They're supposed to be fast food, easy food, and you should do something with your life, Carl. You're wasting your time here, making cheap and easy French fries and burgers. Set up a gourmet restaurant or something. I'll visit, but don't waste your time at O'Tolly's. You could do so much better.
Carl probably doesn't care. He didn't really like working there anyway. But he'll be quite sad because now he can't pay for his flat. Oh.
Well, as luck would have it, Masha, who has grown somewhat attached to Carl, and I imagine Carl's grown somewhat attached to her, given the blood bond,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
says, One, you may not have known this of your sire. Helga owned various restaurant enterprises around Berlin, and their deeds fall to me with her absence. I don't care for the restaurant business, or any business for that matter. I'm thinking I may sleep for a while after all of this. You are more than welcome to take them on and make something of them. Recruit whichever mortals you like, do something productive and beautiful, and live for what the Toreador are meant to live for, and create. Be artistic in the way that you are.
Yeah, Carol will definitely take that on. Probably building up a reasonably successful chain, I would think. He's a perfectionist when it comes to his food. He wouldn't tolerate any failure. Probably high turnover of chefs, though. The one that he personally appears in working, I would think, would be probably the best of them, although maybe not the most well-known, as he doesn't like big crowds, so he wouldn't have a lot of tables in there. But there would be whispers going around the city that every now and then you can hear, especially late at night when the restaurant's supposed to be closed. There's a chattering coming from through the back door to any homeless man lingering in an alley. He's looking for something, and one minute he's talking in that dreary, dull voice of his, and maybe a little bit more of that, maybe a little bit more of this, and then the next minute it'll be, oh, Carl, darling, you really have outshone yourself this time.
Other loose ends. You never find out, or at least not in the immediate future, where Dieter went after Friedrich approached him. And Friedrich also disappears after being arrested. Werner, and I give Anna the choice at this point. Over the next few nights, you notice Werner growing increasingly frail, increasingly fast, as his age begins to catch up with him. He was your first ghoul. You've kept him on life support now for several decades. And while he keeps complaining that he feels like he's missing something, is he missing some medication, or he for whatever reason can't connect the synapses, he does not connect the feeling, this hankering that he's got, this addiction that he has to Vitae or vampirism. It's almost as if he has completely had the memory gone. Do you allow him to age and die, or do you think you're going to... In fact, if you'd like, we can make it arbitrary and have you roll a self-control. Are you prepared to lose him?
I think I will have this kind of morbid yet beautiful type of a goodbye thing with him, where I will lay in the bed next to him, like half on top of him type of a thing, caressing his cheek and that sort of thing on his deathbed until he would naturally pass. And I will not introduce vampirism into his life in any measure ever since he had his mind wiped. It'll be like a kindness toward him to let him have his natural lifespan.
Very good. And no doubt there's a part of you as well that appreciates this time, the way you can say goodbye to this father figure, given that you never had a chance to with Heinrich. You can act as a proxy, and of course for who Werner is.
Yes, but through all this, I think I have grown a lot, because in my earlier days as a vampire, I had my sire by my side all the time as this authority figure that I could always like huddle behind and be like, tell me what to do, and And if I'm ever even slightly confused, I can always just go to them. The same kind of thing that the only kind of control I would have had myself will have come from all the times that during this storyline, that I've been out of control in situations, and I haven't had someone to like fix this for me, but I've had to grab the bull by the horns and make best of all the situations and try to figure it out on my own and with my comrades, but essentially without my proxy father figure there, So I think this has been this kind of a new, not just this cataclysmic event in the setting itself and that sort of thing, but for my character's kind of maturing type of thing, becoming more self-reliant and kind of letting that my character's nature in the nature demeanor department was a child because of that. And I felt like during this campaign, the less and less that kind of came out. By the end of this storyline, it's as good as basically gone at this point.
Yeah, it's more caregiver now, I would say. Other loose ends. Masha does decide she's going to sleep the sleep of ages for a little while at least, and quietly acquiesces as Rosa becomes the primogen of Clan Toreador for the unified Berlin. The vacant Harpy position, formerly occupied by Helga, is still vacant at the end of this chronicle, and hello Anna, should someone wish to fill it, we would do that. We would handle that in a new chronicle. But certainly that would be a storyline possibility for you. Were there any other questions? Well, was there anything else? Siegfried, I think I mentioned. Well, he does not reappear until he reappears in Hamburg with a number of the other survivors. Joanna Richter does not become the Tremere Primogen of Berlin. She goes to ground after the successful possession by Gustav Breidenstein, and is believed to remain hidden in Berlin.
I know
possibly
she's
sometimes seen around the same area as that Church of St. John.
Okay.
She's in that fetish club, that's where she is. Come on now.
Just constantly wearing a mask. No one will know. Are there any questions that you guys, the players, have about anything that immediately follows the game, immediately follows our storyline? Because if we were to pick up again, it would probably be about a year or so later, I imagine.
No, not really.
No, I think that's all pretty much tied up. The only questions I have are very meta-gamey, like, so what was this all about?
No, if you two are happy to hang on for a little while, we can do the metagamey questions, because I suspect viewers would be interested in metagamey stuff as well.
Actually, I do have stuff that I need to do, and I have an early wake-up call tomorrow, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting off of this damn chair.
Fucking game. He's playing this past 13 sessions. All right. Well, in that case, if we can arrange something, we can reconvene and have a sort of post-game chat about it that I'll put on the channel at some point in the near future. But we will a sort of post-match discussion.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's already been like 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if anyone's still with it, in fact, there's 20 viewers, bizarrely. But I will now draw this to a close. So thank you very much to the players for playing. Thank you very much to the viewers for viewing. Especially a special thanks to Louis Danoff, who made lots of lovely illustrations for us of the various supporting characters and protagonists that appeared in this game, and undoubtedly our #1 fan, next to the real Hoff, David Hasselhoff, who has sent me his kind words time and time again. They just keep ending up in the spam folder. And yeah, thank you to the subscribers and to the fans of Vampire the Masquerade. Hopefully we will return with a continuation of this chronicle at some point in the future. But it's been much appreciated, your watching and supporting this. So, bye-bye, everybody.